What's good, Relocation Football League fans? It's your boy Smitty here, back with the RFL podcast. Apologies for the delay. I got something going on here too, trying to stop the song. Okay, there you go. Looks like it's stopping. Still didn't load up the music and things like that, but just want to make sure we have going on with my camera again too. So unfortunately, I might have to just leave that off. That was tripping during the draft. But hey, I got that. Um, Can you guys hear me? And can you guys hear Forbes and Mix real quick? Can you guys say what's up or anything?
Yo, yo.
Forbes, can you hear us? You're not coming through them.
I didn't.
Oh, okay. And let me go ahead and forgot to share screen. Okay, share screen. All right, should be good now. So all right, man. So what's big about this podcast is, of course, we're going to be going over and recapping the draft for each team. Um, of course, going in order from first, the team we felt had the best draft, to who had the worst draft in that order, the grades with them. And after that, we're also going to be revealing when we are going to start season 10 of the RFL. We're going to have an announcement on when upgrades will be available for the upcoming season. And I think I put draft upgrades here twice on this graphic, so never mind that. And then after that, if you guys got any questions, you can feel free to ask. So with that being said, we're just going to dive right into it since we're a bit later than usual. Starting with the draft grades, I'll have to load these in one by one. But first on the list, we have the Chicago Cougars. And obviously, you saw the man who graced the graphic coming into this one with Wyatt Harris. He was the highest overall rated player coming out of this draft at an 81. Of course, Cougars were stacked with first round draft picks, second round draft picks. They got the chance to get those early studs, and they were able to hit in major needs and areas. So obviously, we knew with those picks, there's no way they miss out on getting great players. They did that, and they have the number one ranked draft class coming into this season. And of course, we can see it right here. Wyatt Harris again, star dev, 81 overall. Jack Sky, star dev, 72 overall. Dylan Lewis, 77 overall, star dev. All of them taken within the first round. Then we get to the second round at Greg Dunham, another star dev. So that's four star dev players right there. They got offensive guard and Bijan Rainey. And then in the third round, they got Shady Houston, star dev running back, 75 overall. They got star dev strong safety Devontae Freezer. And then in their last two picks, they picked up Virginia Tech's quarterback Tony Oliveira, former LSU player, too, at a 65, and a free safety in DeAndre Toon out of Notre Dame. So first things first, obviously the man who made these picks is on the podcast with us, and that's the guy right above me, and that is Rob Roby, aka Mix, head coach of the Chicago Cougars. Do you want to talk about how you feel? Do you want Forbes to give his opinion and then just end it off with how you felt with the draft picks?
Yeah, Forbes can go first. It's no problem.
Okay.
I mean,
Forbes.
when you have three top 10 picks and then another three top 10 picks in the second round, um, it's hard not to be at least top five in draft grade. And he made the right choice, number one overall. Made the right choice with getting the top corner at his pick. He made the right choice getting the top quarterback in the class. All when it got to him. I think this was a no brainer class for Rob, and it's easily the best class. Um, in this season 10 draft. And then being able to get players like Houston and Freezer in the third round helped really round out and solidify his team. But he had the easiest picks, but he hit on the easiest picks, and that's what matters. So it's an easy number one rank.
Yeah, pretty. I'm pretty excited about the guys that we've brought in. Kind of just feels like a different different team. And I'm very just optimistic about what we got going on behind the scenes, and really excited about the next 9 days. And being able to start a new journey. And so uh, it feels good, feels great. And again, I don't want to say too much, about things that we've got going on. But for me personally, and I think for the guys, especially the guys who've been there, Austin and Huncho, it's just a different feeling behind the scenes.
Yeah,
And so, I'm really, really, really excited for, well, six of these players are automatically starting.
yeah,
So that's kind of a big deal for us. And then, we got Shady. He's not starting, but he's overtaken our third back automatically. He's better than Cheeseborough. And he's also played a pretty nice role so far in the special teams, man. I think that's going to be a very special player for us going forward. So, not going to say too much, man, but I just know that we're overwhelmed. We're excited. We're in our Sims. We're doing what we got to do, man. We're researching, and I'm hoping that I have a better performance than I've had for a couple of years now. So that's it, and that's all.
yeah. I would dive into attributes,
Yep.
but I feel like if I try to do, go into all that stuff while on the game and
Yeah.
then show this stuff, it'll be too much. But if you're looking to try to check out these players' overalls and how they came in, uh, individual attributes and how they stack amongst RFL players in general, anybody who's got the Neon Sports link, please drop that in the chat. I'll make sure to pin it, and you guys can be able to follow along with the league there to see how every team stacks, where their money situation is, and things like that. So definitely want to keep up with the RFL Neon Sports link. Um, and yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to the second best draft class. I'm going to pull up the list because since I have to do these one by one, I have to see the names of the guys. Um, all right, so here we go. The team with the second best class in the draft were the Oklahoma City Bisons, getting an A plus. Of course, this was huge. They were able to acquire a good majority of these picks thanks to the guy. I just talked about the guy above me. Now we're going to the guy below me. And Forbes, who had a huge trade to move up to number 2 overall to take his guy, which we'll get to the Dreadnought shortly. I said the Dreadnoughts, I mean the Diablo shortly. And talk about, what he was able to do with that pick. But the logic behind that pick for the Bisons were they expected to get the exact guy that they got at number 1 here with Ethan Marks. Ethan Marks, and with that, they got another first round pick out of that, and they got Bo Sanders, the best running back coming out of this draft class, best running back coming out of the college series history. And so those are two big additions for a team that has typically been at the bottom, haven't made the playoffs since season 1 of the RFL. So that just goes to show you how much, the Bisons have struggled and how big this draft class they got means to them, because after that they hit on other big picks that they needed. They had 3 second round draft picks. So they were pretty much as loaded with draft picks as the Cougars were, that had the best draft coming out of here. They picked up Javier Valero. That's their third star player at offensive line, 75. They struggled on the offensive line last year. They also got star LSU cornerback Vinny Ball, star dev, 73 overall. And they got star dev wide receiver. These 5 straight star dev development players with those first 5 picks in the first 2 rounds. And Mamadou Sanyalu was a 73 star dev coming in, now starting for them in the slot position, or it could even play outside with the size and how big those receivers are. Then they followed up after that with a draft pick with drafting C.J. Johnson, 69 overall user quarterback out of Penn State, and a 70 overall guard and Alex Ramy and Marcel Green safety. Obviously, they hit on a lot of big needs. They've quickly improved this team, and definitely deserving of the second best draft, right behind the Cougars. What you guys' thoughts on the Bisons and what they were able to acquire out of this draft, and what do you feel, moving forward for this team on what they possibly could do?
I mean, obviously, it's a good draft for them when you can get who most people believe to be the best edge rusher in the class all the way at 6, and then also get the best running back the college series has ever seen at 18. Both of these guys will play right away. That's huge for them. Being able to get Mamadou Sanyalu in the second round, he might not play year 1, But if he stays active, he can easily overtake a guy like where is he at? Like Victor Middleton, who just came over in a different trade, but he was just kind of filler. It's supposed to be Mamadou Sinyalu's spot. Um, I just think that this was a huge draft for the Bison's future. They can stay on this trajectory of building and maintaining and getting better play from their team all around. Maybe not this season, but next season, I think we can see them back in playoffs.
Yeah, this team is, like you said, suddenly just become, very good. I mean, already a popular team, but I think it's even more popular now. I love to pick up with Ethan Marks and mixing them in there with the veterans, with Della Hart there and Irvin Chisholm, and who we've seen, pretty much progress his entire career here. So I think this is just a good landing spot for, this edge rusher to, get in there and, join Mac, and maybe they start making some noise, some more noise on defense, this season as well. I did like the pickup also of the offensive lineman as well. I think he's going to fit in there with Terrence Brewster, and also there's another one, Garrison,
Javon
that's on that
Garrison.
O line as well. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you were talking about, that the line is, not so good. Well, they just added, a nice piece there with Javier Valero there. So that's going to be interesting to see. And, I kind of just want to see what's the development. What's the development at QB? What's the development at halfback? Is Torres going to look a lot better now with the, some cushion in front of him now. So let's just see, what they do, man. But a solid draft from the Bisons.
Yeah, and we're talking about the draft. These guys also made some moves, some recent news. Before that, guys were following along with them um, some week back, a week back or so after the draft. They picked up star, more than likely future Hall of Fame linebacker and Carter Delahart from the Voyagers via a trade. And so they had a lot of draft picks even for the next year. They were able to utilize those to get a stud defensive end with a few years still left on his contract towards his prime years of his age. He's a 90 overall X factor edge rushing linebacker. And then just recently, they were able to trade away their third round pick this year and a fourth and fifth the following year to pick up linebacker Luke Stokes from the Sentinels, who was an 85 overall. Sentinels ran into some trouble financially, had to make some cuts, was able to avoid what they were about to get slapped with, I can tell you that. And they had to get rid of a good linebacker like that. Either drop him in free agency, get nothing, or try to make a move for him. And they made a move for him. And now those are two key linebackers with the Bisons on top of this draft class. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Bisons do with these moves. After that, let's go ahead and get into the third best team and what they were able to pick up, which belongs to, how ironic is this? It's Forbes and the Diablos, man. At number 3, this guy's already had a stacked team, was already ranked as one of the highest teams. He was the highest rated team in the RFL, even I think even dating back to last season. But now he's just added some studs. Had to get rid of some guys too. Saw him trade away a 99 overall wide receiver in Piku McCullough. Got some capital back for that. And the first pick he makes in the first round, he had a few picks. He picked up the best wide receiver out of this draft class, Dior Gore from Alabama. Star Dev, 79 overall. And then within that same draft class, the quarterback, he drafted quarterback from Clemson, national championship winner in CS7, and appeared in the CS6 national championship, ultimately lost it to Clemson, who he won that chip with in the following year. And he's got a 75 overall with a star dev. Didn't have some picks for a minute. Then went and got Zion. Well, actually, he had some picks, but he got Zion Anderson Jr., the strong safety, 75 overall, another star dev guy. And then this is where Forbes really just started hitting. Was later in the rounds. You had Duke Cushing still laying there, star dev, able to find him a 73 overall. Picked up a user wide receiver and Corey Polly. Had a big breakout year with Miami in his final year. He had Brett Sloan, the offensive line tackle later on in the draft at a 70. And then the real big sleeper pickup that he got was Lou Burks from Clemson, star dev, 74 overall, late in the draft. then picked up Troy Rubin, another DN, and then finished with strong safety Malik Prather from Ohio State at a 69. So a stacked team getting a stacked draft class here. A lot of great guys going over there in Mexico City. A plus draft, obviously third best. I guess just like how I did for Mix, I'll let Mix go ahead and talk about what he thinks about these draft picks for the Diablos, and then you can go ahead and finish it off with your thoughts, Forbes.
Yeah, man. You know, Forbes knows I hate him. Because he's just so good at this. And I was talking to him earlier, and he's telling me like, yeah, man. So yeah, I'm talking to Dior Gore, man. He knows, man. He's fourth on the depth chart. I'm like, this guy's got the best wide receiver in the class, and he's fourth on the depth chart, man. So a case of the rich getting richer, poor getting poorer out here, man. But he hit on all cylinders there. He did a great job. And I want to talk him up a bit here. I know guys like to play around, man, but he didn't cheat anything, guys. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. He's smart. He's wise. He works very hard for the league. Does things that people don't want to do, and he just knows what he's doing. He's in full control, and you'd be lucky to be able to get drafted by Stephen Forbes, man. So, man, what a loaded team he has here. First of all, Dior Gore, hands down, the best wide receiver in my opinion. Boy, with his development, he is going to be absolutely nuts, right? Looking at Colorado Rivers, man, like, look, it was pick the QB you want, man. You know what I mean? Who do you like? Do you like his personality, right? Can you talk to him? Jaden, Colorado, or Dylan. It doesn't matter who you got. All of them studs, right? And you're going to be hearing the names. They got on some great user coach teams. You're going to be hearing their names for a long time, man. Zion, great community member, right? Pulled him, right? Straight up. Duke Cushing, Polly. I mean, all these guys here. Look, I'm mad about the Lou Burks, though. I don't know how he robbed us all with Lou Burks. But look, this is a yeah, he robbed
robbed me, and I knew the overalls.
You know what's bad when he robbed Smitty, man. So Diablo's looking nasty, filthy, man. I know I kind of started it when I had to get rid of Keone. But this team has got a lot, bro. So they got their hands full over there in the NRC side of things, man. But congratulations to you, Forbes. Great job, bro. And I'm honestly, I look up to you, and I want to learn. You know what I mean? So just keep doing what you're doing, bro. At least some of us appreciate it.
Well, man, I appreciate that. But going into this draft,
Forbes was like, he's about to cry for a second. Hold on. So now, go ahead.
before I made the trade to get to 2, I was sitting at 6, 14, and 18, I think. And I was talking with Sharp. Me and him have been talking a lot throughout the off season what we wanted to do. And and I had this conversation with Rob. It's like I was always going to get a quarterback. It was going to be Lewis, Rivers, or Young, just whoever was there when I was picking. We knew we needed to fill the hole at receiver after getting rid of Piku, and then I just had pick 18. Well, as Rob said, my team's on the higher end. There currently wasn't any position I could take at 18 where they would start. It just wasn't going to happen. We were talking to get to 2 was a four spot jump. Now I could take McCaskill, who everyone thought was the second best receiver at 2, or I could take the generational receiver at the top of the draft. So that's how the Bison ended up with all these picks. We want to win now. We want to win big. I need the best players possible to do that. But yeah, I don't know how you let Lou Burks fall all the way to me at like the end of the 4th round or something, Spitty. I don't.
Yeah, I legit, bro. Because it's over with now. I completely missed that pick for the Thunderbirds because there's only the reason why he's getting skipped up by a couple guys is because like I don't try to put guys who are typically a part of a different defensive system with 3-4s. Most of our defenses in this league runs 3-4s, right? So I just saw it where, for some teams, unless they were like the top edge rushers, like Ethan Marks, he was typically a 4-3, 4-2 type of defensive end, straight up edge rusher. He didn't, not a linebacker or anything like that to be part of the edge rushing side of that defense. So, but the thing is, he had the size. He was generational. He can easily move to D tackle. I even talked with him about it. He's excited about it. And so, like those guys who were kind of out of position based off of where they played, they can easily move in. And there was only very few teams that really run 4-3 defenses. T-Birds was one of them. But as they came up during this pick, I was just looking at needs, and I just saw the linebacker there, and I'm like, hey, this team needs a linebacker right now. Whole time, completely skipped Lou Burks. Like, yeah, I ended up getting a
Sitting
72
there.
overall linebacker for him, but I'm like, I didn't even know that he like when I seen Lou Burks come up, I'm like, oh dang, I forgot he was even there. And I was like, dang, yeah, Forbes got that one, man. That dude just slipped through the cracks. He definitely could have been a T-Bird, which could have had them something serious. But he's going to be something serious in the same division anyway with the Diablo. So that
I
was a
guess he's
crazy
gonna
hit.
move D tackle.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's a stud. That's a big time pickup. Uh, but yeah, that's your number 3 ranked team. The draft class coming into the season 10 season. And we're going to now get into the number 4 ranked team, and that was the Bisons, the New York. I said, oh my God, I'm saying it wrong. Same letter teams, but wrong names. But the Barons, New York Barons, getting an A plus, 4th ranked best draft class. They started out with a bang. A lot of people did not know what they were going to do with this 3 pick because everyone knew once Forbes jumped up to 2 to get them from taking Dior Gore, they were like, okay, so what's the play? Dior Gore's not there. Are they going to use this pick to try to get Steve McCaskill, who uh, people believe was the second best wide receiver in the class, which he was? Um, but no, they were willing to take a chance to get Dior Gore as the best receiver there if he was there to be a nice replacement for Q, but he wasn't, and they needed linebackers. They needed an impactful linebacker, and they run the 3-4 as I was talking about. Nick Oquin is a beast edge rushing linebacker. He was just a 78 overall in college at Ohio State, and he just fits everything that the Barons are trying to do. And so he was immediately the pick. Some guys assume like, man, he should have went. That's where Ethan Marks should have went. But Ethan Marks again coming in, he was just they were the same style like type of impactful edge rusher, but one was a linebacker, the other one was a true pretty much DN. And Nick Oquin's the one who fits the defense, so he had to go. And so we picked him up for the Barons. Star Dev, same round. They ended up getting Charlie Dodson, tight end from Miami. Used to play, for Tennessee. Transferred there his senior year. 77 overall star. And then in the second round, despite not getting the Alabama receiver they wanted in Gore, they got the other star wide receiver, the star wide receiver from Alabama, Talon Ross, who again a very good speed deep threat with crazy speed, star dev, 73 overall. And so even without getting Dior Gore, they were able to hit on the same style of player, with at least that speed level, and a guy that they're going to be playing right away. They have 3 receivers now with 94 or higher speed. And so this is going to be a tough offense to stay in front of, and a perfect replacement for Q because Speed had that. Q had that speed as well, and Talon Ross fits right in. And you know what's crazy? Ironically, I don't got the bell, but he took Q's number. He came in here and fully replaced him, took the number and everything. So big hits right there on the first 3 picks. They ended up getting a offensive guard. I put Lyman here, but he's a center. Rico Cardozo. He was the best center coming out the class. His star dev 75. Then they got another lineman because Lyman they were hurting at. Sean McDowell is 71 overall. And then got another 70 overall lineman with Kentrell Davis Jr. And then finished with adding just some more depth at linebacker with Trey Stick. And they needed cornerback. And they got Eric McMichaels and a backup running back and Khalil Harris, who played at Miami. So, I mean, all in all, big gains here for the Barons. Kind of in a similar boat like we saw with the Bisons, a team that, was going down and hasn't more so has just been known for being in the middle of the pack. Now they're rising up and they had a really good draft class here. What's you guys' thoughts on the Barons picks?
Very similar to the Bisons. They had 2 first round picks. They had a couple second round picks. and they got what they needed. Like you said, they needed an edge rushing outside linebacker in the 3-4. Well, they got the best one available. I think Nick Quinn is coming in with 87 finesse move because he had 99 in college.
He got
So
88.
88 finesse move just right away as a rookie. Charlie Dodson might not start right away because I think they still have what's his name, Bain.
He will be the starter. Yep. Because Bain is a 80, but he's 33 years old. So Charlie will start.
Okay, so there you go. That's another starter right there, right away. They get Talon Ross, who you said is also going to play right away. They get Ricky Cardoza, who's going to play right away. Their first 4 picks are all starting. That can't be anything less than an A+ draft.
Yeah, man. Really liking this defense. You guys have already harped on most of the other stuff here, but I knew that when you drafted him to the Barons, I was saying to myself, do you guys know who he's joining, man? I mean, got a lot of talent, young talent on the Barons defense. Obviously, the pickup of Briggs as well. Now, jeez, you know what I mean. So,
Well, I
yeah,
think
this is going to be an interesting.
yeah,
Huh?
Briggs went to the Bisons.
Oh, he
Being
went. He
stoked.
went to the. He went to the
Yeah, Stoke.
Bison's.
Are you talking about Stokes? I think you're talking about Stokes from the Sentinels, right?
Um, no, no. I see. I'm on the roster here.
Mm-hmm.
For the Barons. Yeah. No
Yeah,
Briggs. No Jared Briggs.
Jared Briggs. No,
Yeah, that'd
He
be
that's
didn't go to
the
them.
yeah.
Sentinels.
That guy's on the Sentinels. He's
Oh,
the
there's
one they
Oh,
did.
he
two
went.
Jared Briggs.
Oh, is there another Jared Briggs here? Or is this the
Yes,
same
the
guy?
Jared Briggs that you see here on the Barons, I guess
Hmm.
is from the first time that Rodan built the team and then cut them into free agency.
Oh, I
But
see what you're
Jared
saying.
Briggs
Okay.
is a
Okay.
Sentinel. He shouldn't be on the Barons here.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Well, we still have Nolan Carroll here,
Nolan
right?
Carroll, yeah.
We still have Dodge is old, obviously here. Sean Best Jr. is there, and then looking at Kit Morrison, Moore Rivers. I haven't said his name in a long time,
Yeah.
as well, man. So a decent defense here. Would like to see what they're going, and then that lineman, man, Rico Cardoza, who I whiffed on, he joins the line as well, man. So that's that's gonna be awesome for the Barons.
Yeah. So moving on to the fifth best draft class coming into season 10 were the Sacramento Miners. All right. So who were they able to pick up? First round, they got a lot of had a lot of aging guys on their team. And they off rip, I think they had 3 first round draft picks. Am I mistaken, guys? It might have been 2.
Um,
They thought
I
it
think
was
he had
3.
three in the back end, didn't he?
I think
Yeah,
he
I
had
think
three. I
yeah.
think he got Nelson O'Connor and Bynum in the
Yeah, because he
first.
got those. I'm pretty sure he got 2 linemen. Those 2 linemen are the top 3 in the first. So first he got Cody Nelson, star dev, 74. Wasn't expect he probably thought he was going to be better than that based off of what he was able to look up. And then later on in the round, pick 26, Brian O'Connor was still there, and so this was the best inside cover linebacker coming out of the draft, and he was able to land that stud and star dev as well. And then within the first round, got even better lineman as a rookie at the tackle position in Chuck Bynum out of Alabama with a star dev. So landed 2 good star dev linemen and a beast, a young middle linebacker. Then went to get Will Woolfolk, a star dev defensive end at 74. And then this is where, this could have been Rohan. The whole situation got crazy. Ended up getting picked two picks before him. But they got Ezekiel Kuhn instead. And Ezekiel Kuhn, same overall as Rohan was, where he was picked at 68 overall, speed demon to add to the unit. And then they got a kicker, 75 overall, and Kyle Adams, who was the best kicker coming out of the draft, and a defensive tackle in Quentin Douglas from Utah coming in at a 69. So they hit some pretty good spots here, some good devs. And yeah, I think those first 4 picks were really big, and they can contribute right away, especially with the devs they got to help this team, uh, you know, get away from aging out and starting to fall off. And so it's a good draft here by Dunn, and earns them the 5th best rank. What's you guys' thoughts on the Miners picks?
Yeah, this was
Uh,
definitely a
oh, I bet.
reloading kind of class. The first 3 of the first 4 picks were all in the trenches. He traded Nasir Red away to get Piku. So I'd assume that Chuck Bynum is starting right away in place of Red. You have Cody Nelson for depth, and as we all know, Smitty's really turned up the injuries the last 2 seasons. So having that depth would be good. Just having O'Connor fall all the way to 26, just kind of landing in his lap. Yeah, just a good class overall. He just kind of let the pieces fall to him.
Yeah, I don't think he had a good draft, man. I think this is a D grade. I think that I don't know what he's doing. We don't know what's going on with the minors. They're all over the place. They're so secretive. They're like Jack in the Box. They pop up out of nowhere and say weird things in the chat, and then all this gold standard stuff. And I just don't think this is a good draft for Dunn. And I just think that I'm worried about his coaching skills, and I think he's going to be fired in 2 years because he just drafted all these crappy players. They're no good, and yeah, man. So I don't really have anything good to say about Coach Dunn. So you guys can move on from there.
He's there. Are you going in with that? So
Yeah,
just
yeah. Segue. Let's go.
yeah, it's trash talk.
No, the guy told me. The guy told me he had a better draft than me on draft day. At the end of the draft, he had a better draft than me. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. How much of a you got to be to tell a guy that? You know what I mean? Look, man, the Miners had a great draft, man. He got this guy. He knows what he's doing. He's doing a great job. But I'm gonna give him a hard time as he does me. So I hope you all laughed at that. But no, it's a great draft for him. So I'm feeling around the edges and everything. It's solid. So I just I know what to expect from the Miners, bro. So I'm not gonna give him the benefit of the doubt by glazing his draft, right? Glazing his draft. So, yeah, done. I don't care what you drafted.
All right, man. Moving on.
Yeah.
The number 6, we got the Toronto Huskies. So boom, this is who they were able to acquire. First pick was the best strong safety coming out the draft. I think this might be the best safety overall wise we had coming out from the not from the inflation era. In Diamond Armani from Clemson, star dev, 79 overall, absolute stud. I said during the draft that this is a guy who gives me the exact feeling of a player that's already a beast in the league, future Hall of Famer, and Casey Lott, who can just be used anywhere. He can play linebacker, he can play corner, he can play safety. He can just be everywhere on the field making plays. And that's the type of player that the Huskies were able to get. They needed a safety, but now they got an all-around versatile safety to add to that defense. And then in the second round, they were able to get Sina Anawai from Clemson as well, pairing him up with his teammate. Both got star dev. Sina questionable too about, how active he is, but with Diamond Armani, we know he's gonna, do what he's got to do, dev his guy up, and I'm pretty sure, he's gonna be holding Cena accountable, just making sure that he's able to up his players. So I mean, two big time picks from national championship winners, and then we had a defensive tackle, which they didn't have many, and Mark Grimes, who's picked up from Penn State at 71 overall. Got a tight end, and Dion Goldson needed one. I think they only had 2 tight ends on the roster, so that was able to get their minimum roster size filled. And then they had the kicker, Dave Arnett, so even got themselves a starting kicker, and a wide receiver in the later rounds, Lamarcus Deer, who was a beast with Texas, man. He only played 1 year, though, so couldn't come out better overall. And then a middle linebacker in Sateki Cone. Thoughts on the Huskies pick here?
I mean, my first question with this is Diamond Armani and Cena going to start?
Yes.
So I guess that means Robert Staymates is coming off the bench now.
Yeah, and because of the type of player though that Armani is, he could potentially play the sub because he's 235 pounds too. So like he
Yeah, but
could
that
come
means
in.
you have to take Pratt or Pestock off the field.
Uh, what's it called on? Not necessarily because Pratt, it's a 3-4 defense. So Cena,
Okay, you're
yeah,
okay. So in Neon, he's still at will instead of at edge. So
yeah.
that's what
So
I.
some of these haven't been like edited position wise,
Then
but yeah.
if you move Pratt to edge, then where is Cena playing over Lunsford?
So Cena's kind of in the same boat as
Oh, he's gonna
Ethan.
go to D tackle.
Yeah, so he's D tackle slash not going to be
Okay.
right in the middle, but he's going to be that DN inside type deal.
Okay,
So
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, just great picks. Obviously, sounds like there's a plan to get them involved early and often, and that's what you need from your top pick. So it's just a solid class from the Huskies.
Yeah, as always, Smitty's overloading them with extra things they don't need, and that's why Forbes is confused about where guys are going because it's just now it's cramped, and he's got to squeeze guys in and all over the place with this Pro Bowl caliber defense here. Absolutely phenomenal that they added. I mean, just the Cena and Diamond alone being added to this is going to be quite a problem with their athleticism, speed, and so forth. Already joining a pretty good class of veterans, also with some younger guys as well. So, again, I'm usually defensive minded. So, you've just put some more people on their team, and I have to face them 2 times a year, right? So, yeah. Uh, Glissick though, that's crazy because I'm looking at he's the Mike, and now you're adding Cena
pass or pest
to
stop.
yeah, yeah. So that is crazy. That's crazy, man.
So moving on to the seventh best draft class, we had the Columbus Explorers getting an A grade. They picked up the third best overall rated cornerback coming out the draft, and Brian Robinson from Clemson was a star dev. And within the same first round, they were able to get Tayshawn Wiggins Jr. from Texas, a 72 overall star dev cornerback. They desperately needed cornerback position. We know they got the beast in Rashad Chamberlain, but again, he's aging. They lost Henry Dockett the year before. This was a position they really needed to hit and use their first round picks to get these two key players. Both are users. How active, they will be determined. I know Tayshawn Wiggins seemed to be more active. Brian Robinson, he's around sometimes, but again, he's a decent overall, who naturally should be good enough to just get better and be able to dev within the team. Will be focus trained, but if he can also contribute to that, this could be a huge pick that can turn into the next stud cornerback in the league for the Explorers. And same with Tayshawn Wiggins, man. If he's active and he's deving his guy up, he can be a guy that's seeing the field this season as well. And so those are two big cornerback pickups for a team that was stacked but starting to lose pieces just due to age and things like that, and money. Then they ended up picking offensive guard Keenan Rainey, who was a 74 overall. Got a linebacker in Jackson Santana from Utah. Got a safety, strong safety from LSU after a national championship in Dominique Jewell, and a tight end in Randy Stewart, also from LSU. Same overall at 71. Got themselves a starting kicker too, and Owen Adams. And then I think it's a punter actually, because I think one of these teams I drafted a kicker to convert to a punter, but might have been him, might not have been. And then offensive guard, they were able to get Dennis Prude at a 69 and another cornerback to add three for the depth that they needed on the team with Jalen Jamerson from Maryland. Thoughts on the Columbus Explorers draft picks?
I mean, it's good picks. Brian Robinson's going to start right away, and I think that's about it. But this is one of the more loaded teams in the RFL, and they're a team who I think for the first time ever missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think they're just like you said, the team's getting older. They're trying to fill in spots to develop now to make the playoffs again this year. So it's just a good, solid draft to fill in some of these aging holes.
Yeah, I have the same sentiments as you guys as well. I just love the sound of Braylon King Moore, Brian Robinson, and Tayshawn Wiggins, man. So, I mean, obviously Chamberlain's been there for a long time, but he's going to be on his way out sooner or later. And obviously Darius. Oh, forgot Darius Young is there as well, man.
Yeah.
So that sounds so crazy when you think about it, man. So, loving what I'm seeing out of this secondary. Definitely want to see the Explorers just kind of get back to prominence. Was a little bit disappointed with them having a down year, but I got a feeling that they're going to be back on top of things, man. So big salute to all the guys who are out there, Explorers fans, and that's all I have for that one.
All right, moving on to the eighth best draft. We have the Thunderbirds. So I was getting a little flack for this because guys seen the kicker and the punter. But when you look at these draft picks, these guys pretty much got they hit on all the holes that they needed, and just about everyone they picked was a starter. So I mean, you got the best offensive lineman, the second best offensive lineman out of this draft with Caesar Davis Jr. who's a star dev. They needed offensive line. They're getting age there. At a 78 overall, he came in. They got one of the most explosive corners that had a huge breakout year just last season to really boost his draft stock from LSU, helping them win that national championship in Brandon Cherry. Also coming in the star dev, 73 overall. And then they got Montel. This is where I dropped the ball and could have got oh boy, which would have made it crazier if this was Burks. But instead it's Montel Wright from Oregon they got for the 72 overall. But they needed a linebacker because they were very thin in that area. Now they got one filling that need. And they didn't have the kicker and punters that they had were literally about to be on their way out. They were like 35 each in terms of age. And their over I think Nielsen's already better than one of them. The punter I think is about even. So they even got starting kickers and punters, and they were only had two tight ends. So to fill their depth at tight end, so they wouldn't have to try to look in free agency for one, they drafted Deontay Cobb from Auburn, 66 overall. So uh, off the need hits and the big players they were able to land early on, that's what had them here ranked at eighth. Thoughts on the T-Birds?
I mean, it's a solid draft. Like you said, a lot of them are gonna play or start right away. But I do think 8 is kind of high. Like, they only ended up getting two players that have a dev. I understand their kicker and punter are gonna play right away. I got to see who you have at like 9, 10, and 11 to really see if a draft class of 6 players and two of them being a kicker and punter was worth a top 10 ranking here.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to say. I mean,
Yeah,
I see guys'
team.
points, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't really care about the ranking at all. It is what it is. I don't play those politics. But the just to pick up of the lineman alone on this team, I've watched this team just like pretty much just get everything it desires. For so many years, and every time you add anything onto the Thunderbirds, bro, it's just like wow, just another thing for another team to have to try to figure out and solve when you're up against these guys. I think last year was a fluke. I think that adding the second best lineman now to that team, he'll dev very easily. High powered offense. Obviously, they got the new attachments there with with a wide receiver, and this is just a great team. Then you go and add Brandon Cherry onto the defense. So say what you want. Just you still got to worry. There's a lot of worry here about when you're facing the Thunderbirds.
And we move on to the ninth best draft class coming in, and that was the Celtic Tigers. So this was a team that has been hit with age issues, and they needed to hit big. Linebacker was an issue where they definitely were hurting in that department. A lot of those guys, of course, have phased out, but they never really had too great of outside edge rushing linebackers that fit in that 3-4, and they were able to get one of the best at doing so coming out of college. And Tyrese Evans from Penn State, star dev, 74 overall. Of course, he wasn't Nick Oquin, 78 overall, but I mean the guy was still a stud. These guys had 68 overall outside linebackers that would have probably played, and so this guy's an instant starter. Their safety got another starter from Ohio State here, star dev, 76 overall, Corbin Coase. He played all his eligibility out at Ohio State. Of course, won a national championship his freshman year there. And they got a DN. DNs were shot. They got Tyrone Crawford from Utah. Needed D tackle desperately. This is their second best D tackle on the roster now. And their starting D tackle is he's good overall at like 80, but he's like 33, 34 years old. So they were shot there and needed to get a D tackle. They got a solid one at their pick right there, and I think they only had a pick each round, so that he got that tackle. They got that tackle in the fourth with Nair Drummond from Oregon, and then added another depth piece at the linebacker position on the outside because again they needed edge rushers. Only had 68s. And the 68s they did have were kind of up there a little bit in age too. Like not the oldest, but also definitely not the youngest. Not going to get too much better. They get a 21-year-old and Matthew Bickley from UCLA to help add to that depth. Also, another team that was lacking at tight end in terms of depth got Owen Proctor from I believe it was Syracuse, and then they got an offensive lineman in Isaiah Elliott. So all drafted players of need here for the Dublin Celtic Tigers. Thoughts on their picks?
I mean, this is a team that's coming off of what, two Relay Bowl appearances in the last 3 or 4 years. An ARC team, so a team who's been here since season one, and they just hit a cliff with age and regression, as you can see reflecting in their overall at an 82 now. Um, this is just a team that needed starters everywhere to replace all the old guys, and they went and did that. Um, Especially at outside linebacker, getting Corbin Coast at a 76, which I just wasn't expecting. And then filling in with solid just trench players throughout the end of the draft. Just good for them.
Yeah, I guess my question is Corbin Coast, man. So I guess he's definitely starting here. He's going to line up next to is this
Maury
going to wait?
Williams.
Is it going to Are you moving Demore Williams over? Who's going to be the free safety?
That's
Are you
going to
changing
be.
position
It depends. I want to see who. I really we want Demore Williams at the strong, so we're going to pretty much move Corbin Coast to free,
to free
and
safety?
he's
Corbin's a little slow.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
a
he's
little
like
slow.
85 speed.
Yeah, he's a little
Yeah.
slow, but you know, he might be able to get by. We're going to try him out. If it's that bad, Demore can play the free. Just want to try it out and see what's going on. But those two are interchangeable because they're both big hitters too. They both can be in the box. They both can make tackles. So I just want to see, can they survive with still having Demore Williams in the box, and can he at least cover a little bit over the top? It starts getting bad, then yeah, going to rotate him. But yeah, definitely a starting guy to have over another young safety that they had. I think he was 25 years old. Forgetting on his name. But yeah, he was a
Ryan Reed.
74. Yeah, Brian Reed. He wasn't that bad, but again, a generic. This is a user safety here, and I feel like with his influence too, he's gonna do nothing but just make that player even better. So big influence there. Great star dev too, and a star dev with Reese, not Reese. Yeah, Tyrese Evans, who they really needed.
So I just have a question. At number 9, do you think that the strength of this list is sufficient enough for them? Uh,
For
do you
me,
think this is yeah?
for
Is it
me,
strong? Is it strong enough?
well, if I got them ranked here, that was like what I thought about it. But I
Uh,
just felt like they had a lot of holes. They got the right players, and they were able to hit with what they had. I mean, they literally were picking second to last in every round, and were able to land these players. So I felt like these are young players who you're going to see in the future contribute, and even possibly like right now with some of these guys for this team. So I felt like they hit on the picks they needed. They got the depth at the outside linebacker. They got they're already the second best D tackle, might end up being their best one, and we see how D tackles have devved up starting since last season. Got a starting safety, got a starting outside edge rushing linebacker to fit their scheme, and then the rest was depth, so they didn't miss on anything. And they're just going to dev with this team. So I just felt like all the hits and the players they got were what they needed. Of course, they still need more, but a lot of holes they were able to fill enough. Um, we good there? We move on.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. So at number 10, we got the London Bulldogs. So these guys already a stacked team. The ratings might not have been too crazy high. They still did land a decent amount of 70s and later on, but a great user. They were able to get how many reloads? Almost 200,000 Kenzo Udo
I think
has.
it's 300,000.
Oh, okay, so he's actually ridiculous with those. A 73 overall star. Then they ended up getting offensive tackle and Anthony Moore. Uh, and he's a user, but he's not actually active because he actually plays ball. I believe that's the one that does in real life. And then we have they were able to get a big steal with Russell Shackelford, the star dev. Um, they could have they were really looking to get safety since the number one pick, and they never took safety until later on, and they got Kyrie Williams. Not the worst overall here at a 71, but they had opportunities to get the position that they needed, and just didn't hit on that. And that's kind of why. Oh, and the grade, I forgot to edit the grade, so the grade is not accurate. That should be
Yeah,
an
I was about
A.
to ask you that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was at a
yeah,
Yeah,
C
that's what
yeah,
minus.
I was
yeah,
about to ask. 'Cause we
yeah.
went
As
from
soon as
like A to C minus.
yeah, as soon as I seen the C minus, I say, hold up, something's wrong. So yeah, they're like A. This is like an A class. And the reason why it's not like A plus again, kind of like the other ones before, is because there was opportunities, or maybe they could have, got something better, and they just did. And that's what kind of happened with the safety position there for the Bulldogs. I feel like they were already pretty stacked at corner. They got a great one in Udo. He's going to be able to play and stuff like that. But there are some team needs, some holes I think that they could have hit early on, and kind of missed a little bit on. But other than that, I mean, still had some great pickups. Got a defensive tackle on Mike Sizemore. That was a 69 overall. Offensive tackle on Ben Magan from Georgia. Ended up getting a running back in Xavier Gibbons, but again, at running back, they were kind of stacked. Really didn't need one. But interesting to see if he gets any burn within that offense. Strong safety in Marco Wilder. He's from Oregon, a 70 overall. Then got a middle linebacker, Kona Fualima, and a corner, 67 overall, and Trent Yoder. Thoughts on the Bulldogs having the 10th best draft?
You kind of hit the nail on the head with them. It's a good class. You got Uto, you got Shackelford, guys who will come in and make plays eventually. I think everyone knew that the Bulldogs' biggest position of need was safety, and they just kind of didn't fill that need.
Right.
Um, and so that's what kind of not like if we were to start at the B plus, that's what would knock it down from A to B plus to me is good class. Virgil Shackelford was a steal in the second. Kenzo Uto fell to them. So they just took who they might have thought was the best player available. But I think just what really hurts this class is not getting their biggest position of need when they had multiple chances to do so.
Yeah, I think it's just great pickups for getting Uto there, and obviously getting Shackelford, adding him to the defensive line there. That's pretty spooky there. Maybe coach has something for the safety situation, man. I mean that's a lot of beef on the defensive line there. Sometimes you might be able to get away with mediocre players out there. When your defensive line is going crazy. So we'll see how that goes, man. Can't wait to see what new coach does.
All right, so those were the top 10 that was revealed to the public on social media about a week ago. And now we're going to get into the rest of the rankings, in which you guys have never seen. So coming in at 11, we have the Pioneers. And the Pioneers were able to land big on their first two pickups and got a pretty solid lineman at the point in the draft, which they did, and a solid depth linebacker. But Manny Rojas, star dev, defensive end, will be starting for the Pioneers. They're also part of a 3-4, and he's going to be in the same situation as Ethan Marks, where he's going inside, and they utilize their edge rushing linebackers and uh, Jesse Newhouser, who we know has to play on that edge. He won linebacker of the year last year. Dude was a beast. And then you're going to pair him with Manny Rojas. And then they ended up getting a stud running back who was the second best running back in the class, and Zach Tank, a 76 overall, pure power runner, can even hit you at times with some jukes, but an absolute tank to match the name at the back to pair with Bryce Witherspoon, who they have on the offense, who's more of a receiving elusive back. And so they got that kind of Sonic and Knuckles type deal going on, like you hear with the Lions. And that should be a really good fit there. And Zach Tank will be starting. He will be the main back, and it will feature Witherspoon and more, third down, receiving situations. So and as a user, as active as he is, having to start dev and stuff like this is a back we can see jumping up very quickly. They were able to get an offensive lineman in Josh Washington. They were able to hit really good on some offensive linemen last year. So getting a 71 overall lineman also when they did, helps them out. And they got a solid depth linebacker in Levante Vaughn. This was a linebacker who only had to play 1 year. Unfortunately, was drawn for the draft. Was a beast though for West Virginia this season and came in at a 70 overall. And then you got a edge rushing linebacker to fit that 3-4 scheme of theirs as well with Jeremy Fraser for some depth. Got a lineman and Mike Middlebrooks from LSU, 69 overall, and another outside linebacker for that depth. They just didn't have a lot of depth at the linebacker, but they were able to pick it up out of this with Greg Granger at a 67. And they get a B plus. Thoughts on the Pioneers draft?
This is probably the first one we got to where it's very hop heavy.
Mm.
Um, because it really is just the top two guys. I mean, they everyone below Rojas and Tank are good. They're not going to play for the next couple of seasons. They still got the right picks. Those were the two biggest needs. So it's a good class, but it's just really the top two guys.
Yeah, shout out to Rojas and Zach Tank, man. They really excited to be landing here. I'm assuming Rojas is going to get the starting position there, and
Mm.
looking at Zach, man, really, really nobody really to contest him except for Bryce Witherspoon. So I'm pretty sure he'll be that feature back for the Pioneers very soon.
Yeah. And again, to add more so, I was looking at like just the sheer impact of those guys that they got in the beginning. Kind of like how we did with the earlier picks in the top 10. There was another team like that. But I feel like the impact of Zach Tank on top of Manny Rojas with what they already had there was huge. And then they got those, depth field pieces. So that was the logic there behind getting them at 11. And we're going to move on to the 12th ranked class, and it was the Cincinnati Hogs. So the Cincinnati Hogs were able to land a stud wide receiver, their first round draft pick late in that first round, 76 overall start dev, Tavion Trayvon Simpson Jr. This guy was a national championship MVP in that CS6 national championship game against Utah. And just a big body wide receiver to add. They had already two good young stud wide receivers out there who was just really filling in for Sylvester Leach, who is now, I think he's with you now, for ain't he?
Oh,
Yeah, so he ended up hitting free agency, got picked up by the Diablos, and yeah, they just really didn't have height there and a big like true number one receiver that could build. And TSJ user in the community, fairly active, and he could really be a stud here for this offense to help out Ronnie Shanahan and this offense to pass the ball down the field, which is something they really struggled with last year. Ended up getting a stud safety and Kong Morris. Already we're moving on from Rudolph, who was a hard hitting safety as well. He's going to come in and get replaced by Kong Morris and be able to play that rotational depth guy. Then they got an offensive lineman they needed in Sonny Daniels. And some good depth at the cornerback position because I believe they only had like 4 on the roster. So, and if they had more, they weren't even 69 overalls. They were real low. So they ended up getting C.C. McKenzie from Tennessee and Joshua Hawker from Minnesota. And they ended up getting a defensive tackle need with Josh Haggins. Thoughts on the Hogs?
Um, yeah, it was just a big pickup to get TSJ. Um, the big thing going on now with Ronnie Shanahan is until it changes, going to linger over him that they had the 32nd passing offense last year. So
Yeah.
just getting a guy like that to come in and fill the need that Sylvester Leach is leaving is going to be huge, and hopefully they're better than the worst passing team this year.
Yeah, I love the addition of Kong Morris to this defense as well. Think that that's going to be a key piece that's going to be able to help that defense continue to even get better than it already is. So great draft.
And next up at the 13th best draft class, we got the St. Louis Aviators. These were guys that were able to get the best tight end coming out the draft. They literally did not have a good starting one. And they got probably the best tight end in RFL College Series history, which of course Pecan will let guys know that. And Arturo Flores, start dev, got 79 overall. Another pick that guys had questioned was KC Robinson getting out of there. The Aviators, at the time when they got the pick, the top three quarterbacks were already gone. And so KC Robinson had a nice little combine. We heard him talk. And, a guy who's very active with a lot of reloads. So they went and just took their guy who wouldn't have been there in the second round. KC Robinson comes out of 69 overall. And then Holly Jacklin kind of fell to the Aviators, who really needed a need at linebacker. So he's another guy who's going to be starting for this offense. And then wide receiver Khaled Lemon also is a guy who really has a shot to play as well, due to if he's active or not. But comes in at 70 overall. Already talked and said, hey, he's ready to get in here. And they also needed a safety. And they got David Sims in there at the strong safety position, 69. He's an active user. And he also is another guy who's looking to dev his guy and work on and be active. So able to get five players that are pretty much going to have a shot to be able to play. And then you got Demarcus Woolfolk to fill those needs at the end, 69 overall. Offensive lineman and Tulia Haas, so they need some there for youth. And another safety and Terrell Ross, because they were just low on depth there. Got a B plus, 13th ranked draft. Thoughts on that?
I don't really have much to say about this class. The Aviators are, as you can see, the lowest overall team in the league. And then they draft a tight end, which was a huge need. They needed a tight end. I just think there was other things there that they could have gotten instead. Um, Obviously, Casey Robinson ends up going here because the top three quarterbacks are gone by they got here, and there's no expectations for the Aviators to be good this year. So Casey Robinson just can do his thing. And yeah, I mean it's a good draft, but the Aviators just still have a lot more things they need to fill.
I guess I just have a question.
Mhm.
I could be wrong, but I kind of felt like KC at Florida. I'm not gonna say he was the greatest quarterback. I just kind of feel like he was better than 69 overall, right? And did he get a star? Is he normal as
He's
well?
normal depth. Mhm.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, what kind of went behind that with with the overall there,
Uh,
matched up
so
against the class, I guess. Like it just, it kind of felt like I felt like that Florida team was, it wasn't really that good, but I felt like he wasn't really that bad. It's just the team maybe wasn't that good. But I don't know. So I was curious about that when we had the draft, but I didn't want to, go into the politics on during the draft, right? But
yeah.
so yeah, so
So
what went into that?
So when you look at guys who come out of it's hard just to get a 70 and above. We look at guys like Miles McCain. Yeah, he was his first year was not that good. Came in, snapped his second year, but of course he had the weapons there, so it was hard to grade him. He came in a 70. For the years that KC was in, had a great year with Texas, right? CS6, PFL guy, so he had that little that behind him too. But the minute he transferred, you could tell there was a difference in play. There were a lot of times where he had interceptions and clutch moments. He was just not the same player. And then you look at the class of players that were ahead of him. So you had those top three players that were over him. You had a couple more quarterbacks that were actually ranked better than him playing as well, and Baines, Corey Baines, and also Danny Johnson. So if you watch KC play, okay, Florida wasn't terrible, but he definitely was not the same guy when he left. And he had a lot of issues with his accuracy, a lot of issues with forcing passes, just a lot of issues in general when he went to Florida. And so that was really what hit him. And again, coming in at a 79, what saved him to even get that was the fact that he had a good year, back in Texas. So it was just the fact that amongst his class, how good really was he? And he took a hard hit for those last 2 years.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. All right, and we can go ahead and move on to the 14th best class, and that belongs to the yeah, Steamers. All right, so with the Steamers, They were able to get their future franchise quarterback in Jaden Young, star dev, 76 overall. They got now their starting tight end in Brian Schneider from Notre Dame, another star dev guy, 74 overall. He came from oh yeah, they had why am I blanking on the tight end? Oh yeah, Eric Reese, who they traded
Eric
away to the
Reese.
minors, and
Yeah.
so now they're taking a risk here, getting a young guy at 74 overall to be their main guy now, but he is an active user, so two star dev active users, big there, and then this is a team that's just stacked. So I mean, just the rest here, it was just really filler. You got center, 70 overall center from I believe Penn State and Todd Sutton. You got Trip Zimmer from Ohio State, 70 overall. Then you got another offensive lineman here, three straight offensive linemen, 69 overall, and Anthony McGill. And then a pretty decent pick here too. Is KJ Smith. We're hearing rumors that more than likely Reed Wagner will not be returning. You get another user quarterback. And so, and another thing that Jones brought up, he said when he called, he wanted to make sure to call him first to see if he was okay with playing that backup role. And KJ Smith said, yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. And so he drafted him. And we could be looking at Jaden Young and KJ Smith in the future, if anything, bar anything happens to Young. Then the rest, again, more filler. Got a D tackle in Ralph Singh, 68 overall. Another offensive tackle in Donovan Hardy. And another one in Alex Davis. So thoughts on the Memphis Steamers draft class?
I mean, this is just a prime example of the rich getting richer. Jaden Young just fell to them. I think they were picked 19,
Hmm.
and a 76 overall rookie quarterback just fell right into their laps as Reed Wagner's on his last hurrah. You know, this is kind of where I was thinking about the Aviators, where they have two first round picks. They know that there's three or four teams ahead of them considering a quarterback. Why not move up? They didn't do it, and they just fall us right to the Steamers. I think Jaden Young's going to love it there. He has to ride the bench for 1 year, but going into next year, he's going to have a great team surrounding him, and I think the Steamers aren't going to drop off at all once Young takes over.
Yeah, I keep harping on the QB class, man. I know that a lot of guys are arguing this guy's better than this guy, better than that, blah blah blah. He's better. Listen, all three of those guys, are absolute studs. As far as I'm concerned, the number one quarterback fell down to the Steamers, right? So this is a great spot for him. I think, really love the culture as well. Jones, CP and those guys, especially with Jones. I've known him a long time. And he knows what he's doing, man. The league is giving him Jaden Young, and you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay because honestly, man, this guy's he's been working with Wagner, right? And he's had his moments, with Wagner, and he's had his good, bad, and everything, right? But now he's got a little bit of a toy, right? A little bit of a transformer that he can mess around with right now, man. So I'm curious to see what Jones is going to be able to do with Jaden Young. So big salute to the Steamers.
Yeah, big addition there for that team, and be an active user too. That at first Young didn't have the most RFL knowledge from what Justin was letting me know, because he was mainly a college guy, so he may have watched the RFL but didn't stay in tune. So when he got drafted to the Steamers, this guy was just like, he's just looking at this high overall rated quarterback. He's like, yo, I'm not even going to be able to play, man. Like, probably for like 3-4 years or something like that. So he was actually
Yeah,
mad when he got picked up, until the squad was just like, hey, let me explain to you what you just fell into, and
yeah,
letting them know the situation with Wagner, that more than likely he's going after this year and you're the guy. And now his weapons are your weapons. You got Romeo Jackson over there. You got Jake Pride, who would have had a crazy breakout year last year. Unfortunately, he got injured. And then you have J.J. Vaughn, and more weapons to even come who was a breakout rookie last year, and T.J. Holcomb. So he's got weapons on top of weapons. He's got a great back, a young one in Amir Williams, who we know is a stud and an active user. So he just fell into one of the most explosive offenses that he's going to have control over more than likely after this year. And somebody who he can get extra dev from, with Reed Wagner with the experience because of the mentor trait. So he just fell into the perfect spot, and he's going to be able to keep that standard for the Steamers for a long time. When we know he's going to put in the work. So shout out to you, Jaden, and shout out to the Steamers, man, making a good move, to keep the team afloat for the future. And for the 15th ranked draft class, we had the Baltimore Gunners coming in A minus. They got Xavier
All
Savage, the
right, now,
best DB in the
Smitty.
class.
Yeah, it can't be A minus.
Yeah, like how are you gonna give the teams above them a B plus, but then this team gets a higher grade, but they're lower in the ranking?
Look. I'm gonna be honest here too, guys. From 11 to 32, y'all was in the VC with me. Maybe I had to hurry up and make these, bro. I did not have these made
Yeah,
before, like
you're right.
literally.
You
I
were doing
literally
this as
made
eight
these.
o'clock tonight, so I
Not gonna
understand.
lie
I
to y'all,
understand.
man. So I'm sorry, but like
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
still was looking at this stuff. I still feel like the rankings, the grades might be a little crazy,
I
but
feel bad too, man,
but
because I
yeah,
was like
bro.
definitely taking like a nap and in and out of the voice. And I was listening to y'all,
Yeah.
and
So
I remember you asked them, "Can guys help me?" And there I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then no one said anything but like Hodge.
yeah, so I had to hurry up and get
That was
these in,
crazy.
man. So yeah, the
Yeah,
rankings was kind of crazy because I think I was juggling between like when it came to the grades. I'm like, okay, what's the grade I should give them based off of what they did and what they had to
yeah,
work with. And so like that's what I kind of did for them because I mean you got a stud 80 overall uh
I mean, because like I
cornerback.
won't lie. I mean, just looking at this, I would say this draft is better than the Thunderbirds.
hmm
Yeah, again, it depends on the team, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like when you're a stud team and you had only 5 picks to work with, like T-Birds, and got what they got, they just literally filled
Yeah,
spots
but
in
this
with that. You know?
draft, like this class of players is better than the class of players the Thunderbirds had.
But that's where you look at the draft gate grade again. Like, what is it doing for the team also? So I don't look at like I was trying to just come up with a something to come up with. Okay, this is what the grade is because they're
You're just trying to
bringing
figure
in
out how
these
the
type of
Thunderbirds top
players.
10 is what you want to do.
You said what?
You were just trying to get the T-Birds in the top 10. That's all you
Nah, but I
wanted.
mean, honestly, you look at the T-Birds and who they got. Again, like it's a stacked team that just got more starters to it. You look at this, yeah, he got Xavier Savage, but who else is starting on this team? That's kind of how I was looking at it. So you got more than just, oh, these guys didn't have that many picks looking at. They literally drafted just about all starters, while the Gunners got Xavier Savage. The rest of these guys aren't bad, but they're not playing. So like that's kind of you gotta balance and go with it from there. Uh, but just to keep on with the Baltimore Gunners, I mean, obviously got the best defensive back coming out of the RFL College Series, the highest rated defensive back ever outside the inflation era. And you got middle linebacker and Edward Schuler, another guy who only played 1 year, was able to jump to a 71 overall and a star. He played for Penn State. This guy definitely would have been a top tier back for a top tier linebacker, excuse me, if he had stayed another year. But we just wanted to make sure we got another guy in there. Uh, Running back, they were aging. They got Abraham Powers. This was a guy who was also a nominee for running back. For the Heisman in the RFL College Series, which we call the Hunter Mackey. Got a cornerback in which they needed depth, and Cortez Jordan. Jamie LaRue, who's a stud slot safety, star dev from LSU,
Slot
winning the
receiver.
national. Yeah, slot receiver. I'm all over the place, guys, man. Like that's how you can tell I rushed this. I was crunching time, man, doing this, man. So I ain't gonna lie, I'm taking the L here, bro. But I'm keeping it going. But Jamie LaRue, another good pickup there for them. They needed receiver, another running back in Isaiah Fuller, needed depth at tight end, got Leon Osborne, and depth at wide receiver with Randy Pitts. So again, yeah, differences in opinion. I do agree for sure that grade should be different. But you know, that's what I came up real quick. So thoughts on the Gunners though with these picks, man.
I mean, I already said my thoughts at the beginning. Just getting
yeah. Great
Savage,
draft. I don't have much. Savage, yeah, Savage. That was crazy.
just getting Savage makes you a
That
top
was a
10
pick. Yeah.
top 10 class, in my opinion.
All right, so we're gonna move on. We're at the halfway point of this. And at 16, we have Marshals. So the DC Marshals coming in. They hit that need at safety. They were trying to get Diamond Armani. He got sniped. And so it went with the next best guy who he played with at free safety and Juan Redden, a star dev. They needed a D tackle. Got a 72 overall Jamari Logan from Tennessee. And then in the third round, ended up getting Vince Reed. They already had a good running back in Terrence Ward, but Vince Reed, with Terrence Ward's about to be crazy, uh, and so those were the main big picks I think that they had was really just Juan Redden and Vince Reed. Logan's okay for depth, but everyone else is just really like again those depth guys that were lower overall, and so that's why they fell where they did. Excuse me. In the ranking. And then they got Leon Winfield the third at 69, got an offensive tackle and Travis Beatty 69, 68 overall guard and Darren Simon. Got a DN at 69 and Nick Gillikin, and a 68 overall corner from Notre Dame and Thomas Carter. So thoughts on the Marshals draft?
They picked exactly who they needed to in the first round with Juan Redden. Jamari Logan was just a really big position of need. I mean, I've been talking to Hodge, and that's going to be his the guy he uses his reloads on, his coach reloads, because his D tackles are getting old. He needs another guy in there, and Jamari Logan's going to be that guy. And then Vince Reed was just nice for him to get. You know, he didn't really know what to take, so he just took the best player he thought was there.
Yeah, I really like the pick of Juan Redden as well. Nice guy, nice young safety to go over the top. I know he's been been in the back rooms trying to figure out his safety situation. So he's got a great pick up there, and obviously adding another back in the backfield is amazing as well. So good job there. Nice grade there for the Marshals.
All right. And next up at 17, we have the Tigers. So Tigers, B plus grade here. Were able to land a wide receiver. They were hurting at that position. Got a fast one, second best wide receiver in the class at a 77 overall start dev in Steve McCaskill from Ohio State. Then they got a young defensive end since they got older guys there. Demarius Regis, 74 overall start dev as well. Needed depth at cornerback because outside of their top three, the rest were like 65 or 67 and below. So pretty much they got good two back-to-back 69 overall depth cornerbacks in Stevie Chambers and Jeremiah Simmons, who also will be touching the field from time to time, and a 69 overall center just for some depth, even though they got the best offensive line in the league when you look at them on paper, and Louis Franco from Utah. Thoughts on the Tigers picks?
Just they only had 5 picks. They needed a receiver. I think everyone had receiver marked for the Tigers because they just need to get one. With Gore gone, them having a top 10 pick, they took the best guy left in McCaskill, took Regis to fill some depth, and then they just did the same thing with the rest. Just not a lot of picks, so they just took what they could when they could.
Yeah, like what it's kind of crazy. Cass just joined the podcast in here. Was he
Yeah,
supposed to
I
do that?
saw that.
No, no.
I kicked him out.
Okay.
Yes.
he was,
Yeah, it's
he,
like, oh, we're up. I'm gonna
he,
start talking.
he was excited.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just excited.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, great pickup, man. I really liked the offseason that the Tigers had, and I also like the players that they picked up. I love the Steve McCaskill pickup, man. That's going to be awesome for him there. Obviously, the Regis pickup as well. But this team has been well tooled this offseason and going into the draft. So look out for the Tampa Bay Tigers, man. Love that name too, bro.
Yeah.
Going to be a great. I think it's going to be a great season for the Tigers.
Well, yeah, great division to look forward to is that NRC South, man. A lot of studs in there: Diablos, T-Birds, and Tigers. And of course, you can't sleep on the Desperados either. Marquise Washington over there, so that might end up being the most competitive division to watch this year, as we saw with the ARC East last season. But moving on to the 18th best draft, we had the Austin Armadillos. So the Austin Armadillos were didn't have a first round draft pick, second round pick. Uh, they got tight end, third best tight end out the class from Texas, and Mac Van Ginkel. He's supposed to actually have an S near his name. He was a star dev, so I didn't add that. But got him. Outside linebacker, they got Randy Wilson from Oregon, a 73 overall. Cornerback Omar Delps, a 69 overall from Utah. Then they got Nyshawn Miller, starting quarterback from Texas, at a 68 overall. One of the big knocks on him, of course, his size. It's just standing at 5'9". So we can dive into that a little bit. Ended up picking up a 66 overall wide receiver in Zach Zach Scarberry. But of course, again, this was kind of in the later rounds. D end, they got Chase Moore, who was a user, but usually not active, is 67 overall. Free safety, 68 overall, and Cooper Zingman, another user. They finished off with a 65 overall generic running back in Dante Pinkney, who came from Iowa State. Thoughts on the Armadillos S10 draft class?
My thoughts is that Roland is a terrible coach. He's going to take Nyshawn Miller, start him week 1, run the read option, and get fired by week 4.
Wish I had the
It's
bell, but
my total thoughts here.
Uh, I'm supposed to ask because if I don't ask, then So I'd like to know why Nyshawn Miller is a 68 overall.
Because he's
I didn't
5'9".
think he was a 68 overall
you
when he
thought he would
played at
be.
Texas. So
You thought he
so
was
well,
better.
Roland is forcing me to
Oh,
ask this question. Otherwise, he's going to get jealous and say I'm biased.
And
So
why
I'm just
why
going to give
doesn't
him
he
the
have
same
99 speed,
question.
buddy?
Why is Nyshawn Miller a 68 overall? He was much better at Texas, and Roland thought the same thing. And so, can you explain to us why he's 68 overall?
Yeah, so really it stands on where you rank amongst your class. So I already had in my mind who were the best quarterbacks and stuff in that order. Again, when you look at Casey Robinson, he had that one great year, which in my opinion was better than any year that Nyshawn had. Another knock on Nyshawn is the fact that again, he's 5'9". He had weak throw power on top of that. So that really hurt him. But of course, throwing the ball really wasn't too much of his game. He had good short to mid, range games from throwing the ball that way. But when he looked to go deep, it was just pretty much a liability. It was tough to throw the ball at times. But he was mainly just a guy who's going to extend those plays, scrambling, getting far. And he was just one overall away from KC Robinson, despite that, those 2 years where he took a hit. And so, and then the funny part is when you're talking about the speed, and thinking that Nyshawn was going to have like 90 something speed. The thing is, he had 91 speed in college, yes. But quarterback speed relation going from college to the pros is much different than a wide receiver or a running back. Like a fast wide receiver, running back are the ones who's going to have those high ratings. Mind you, 91 might be fast, but for a college player, that's getting knocked down, especially at 5'9". Another thing too is he was not the fastest running back even in the class from the college game.
Considering he's a quarterback.
Yeah,
Quarterback.
but I said, did I say
I
running
said
back?
running back.
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
you guys get what I'm saying. But he wasn't even the fastest quarterback from his class. He had a 91. Um, Casey Robinson had a 94, and Colorado Rivers had a 95. There's no way in any scenario that Nyshawn Miller is going to be faster than those two players. And
Well,
so the fact that he even got to be tied for the fastest receiver in the class shows respect to the fact to his game to be able to scramble. So he was able to keep up speed wise with those guys coming in the class because that was more of his game than it was passing. So really, he got blessed with having the 88 speed to match those guys, and those guys were able to fall down because of their height
wait,
because they were tall.
he's got 88 speed in Madden.
Yeah.
Yes.
Roland, what are you complaining about? Like that is crazy. You know how fast that is
For a
in Madden
quarterback,
in our
yeah.
league for a quarterback.
Mm.
Wait, what's DJ's speed?
DJ's 93.
Okay, Gino 90 90
Geno's think is slower than that. I think he's an 86.
86. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, so I do have this question, I guess, not to keep dragging it on, right? So KC's a 69, Nyshawn's a 68. Nyshawn went much further with Texas. He was in the playoffs, right? If he had won a playoff, do you think that he would be
He
a
would have
higher
cracked it.
overall? Like if he gone further,
He'd
Yeah.
you
probably
think
been
he'd
able
be
to
higher?
at best maybe uh match KC at a 69, but you have to look at the games, right? So when you're looking at the games and how what he's actually doing on the field to contribute for this team, um again, he was not really he made good passes at times throwing the ball as a quarterback, but he was more so known for his extendability, scrambling. We knew when Texas passed the ball too much, it was going to be an issue. And when you have that type of issue, that's going to definitely hurt your rating coming in, especially when you're an undersized quarterback at 5'9". So he had to catch those hits due to that situation. He did a great job, taking Texas where he did. But again, when you compare him with other quarterbacks in their play, he was more so just mainly a scrambling guy who can make the occasional pass solid from the short to medium range, but deep was another hit on him. So, just a big issue. And then rolling again, just showing us talking about who did Florida really play. I mean, they're in the SEC, my guy. Who didn't they play? So
And all the
yeah,
same teams Florida played. They're in the same conference.
yeah, they're in the same conference, so you can't even say that. But yeah, I mean that's really what factored into his rating, and it's crazy. I mean to come in still at a 68, a lot of guys look at the ratings. You got to compare him amongst guys who came out before in this class. We've had good quarterbacks come in that are 70 overall. Jacob McCall came in this league at a 70 overall, and he was a beast for Alabama. Again, Miles McCain came in a 70 overall, and he was a beast his last year with TCU. So to get a 70 at quarterback, because quarterback is the most harsh ranked position coming into the league, uh, I would be hyped to be anywhere close to that. 68, especially as an undersized quarterback, and I'm not saying that Sean's complaining, but like, yeah, that's just, at 68, that's really good to come in with, what you had coming in with. So that's my thoughts on it. But not to prolong this ranking too long. Let's go on to the 19th pick, which belongs the 19th best draft ranking, which belongs to the season 9 champs in the San Jose Condors. Again, they were kind of the same exact boat as CT. Right, they got some age and stuff, but not as bad nearly. Uh, but they had literally the last pick of every round and nothing else. And what they were able to do with that, they were struggling at linebacker. They needed linebackers there. They ended up getting Rondell Smith Jr., one of the big premier edge rushers, coming off at that to fit their 3-4 scheme. Had to start Dev. Chase McCoy has regressed. He's down to a 86 overall, and they got the fourth best rated quarterback coming out of this draft from Oregon, and Corey Baines at a 71. And so when they got him, they pretty much solidified their future with Baines, and they added another linebacker and Ramon Flowers at a 71 overall. So really helping that depth chart need with them. At middle linebacker, they again filling more linebacker spots. They got Tremaine Snyder, another guy. If he'd stayed more than 1 year, would have been a top tier linebacker in the class, but he had to come out early. Comes out of 69. And they got Lyman and Al Kimball. I believe he's from Texas. And the rest was just depth spots. They needed another receiver. Got Vinzel Hicks from Syracuse, and then Matt Upshaw from UConn at a 67. Thoughts
So
on the
my
Condors?
my my question is, did you? So why did you choose Baines for the Condors and not for the Aviators?
So what I looked at was the potential, right? I looked at a guy in KC who spoke well, of course, on the podcast, but a guy who I've seen with the Aviators, he was tested. Like we aren't expecting the Aviators to do much, right? We know they're going to struggle for the most part this year because they had so many holes. I needed a quarterback that I knew was going to put in work, that wasn't a part of those top three, that was going to respect the grind and had the reloads and was okay with losing. And he went through that for 2 years with Florida. And he's willing to put in the work no matter how long it takes to make it happen. And I feel like he was the perfect quarterback for the Aviators, especially his build, being at 6'6", 220. I think it was 220 something pounds. That the size was actually off. He said it's supposed to be 220 or something like that. So we gotta find that and fix that. So like he has a crazy build to his player, and we know he's going to put in the work with the reloads. He's up there amongst the top quarterbacks with the reloads. Uh, and you're on a team where you can make those mistakes. You can, you're going to take those scars. And so I felt like there was no other quarterback outside of KC, even though Baines was better in a sense, to be able to withstand that. And so I just
Yeah.
went with KC. I thought his build was just better, and in terms of just having that frame and what he's going to be able to do, he just fit the team better, in my opinion.
So you never thought like maybe I should put KC on the Condors as a successor, right? And
Well, KC
to
never would have
um
gotten to the Condors because for
wait
their first round, KC was already gone.
wait KC was taken by
In the,
the Aviators,
yeah,
and
in the first round.
what
24.
yeah, but
Yeah.
what pick what
I picked 24.
Mm-hmm.
pick 24? The Condors picked last, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they picked
32.
last and they got their
No.
outside linebacker.
Oh, okay, I see what's going on. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, so that was the
That's right.
biggest
Yeah,
need for them.
he would he never would have made it to the Condors. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't have. If he was there, well, yeah, he would have never got a chance to get there because the Aviators would take him. But
Yeah,
that's the reason why I didn't
yeah,
take Baines
I got
for
you.
the Aviators was because of that.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
So then for Baines, McCoy is on the last year of his contract. He's turning 33.
yeah,
So is Baines just the guy starting next year?
that's what we're looking forward to happening because I think McCoy is going to take a pretty big hit. To my surprise, I look back and I realized I was like, this guy never was even a 90 overall rated quarterback. So he's getting hit with the regression. He already got knocked down. I think he was like an 88 last season, dropped down to an 86. I think this next year, going to be 33, is going to really hit him. And so Baines gets a whole year with a guy who's going to give him the mentor to get that extra XP, get focus trained, put in the work, and he's going to be that guy next year. So they really got their future with that second round pick.
All right, nice.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on to uh, the second best ranked draft. I mean, the 20th best ranked. Oh my God, I'm on 20th ranked best draft ranking class. Whatever. I'm messing up bad. San Antonio Dreadnoughts coming in. They only have 5 picks here. They got JoJo Carter, 71 overall. In my opinion, which kind of affected them with the rank is I just feel like they probably could have hit something else since I think when they were able to pick, uh, the cornerbacks were kind of taken up. But he wanted to. I understand it. Go get a user cornerback. He's got the reloads and stuff like that. So not too bad of a pick. But I do feel like they probably could have gotten another position or something like that of need. They got a good offensive guard in Joshua Thompson, though, in that second round, I believe, with a star dev. Then they got Josh Farmer at D tackle with a 70, Micah Harper at a 70 at free safety, and a backup quarterback from Syracuse with Evan Clemens. Thoughts on the Dreadnoughts draft?
I understand the JoJo Carter pick. I'm looking at his team. Of his top 5 corners, 3 of them are over 30.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they're 33, 34, and then 30 and 30 flat. So like Trey Sinclair and Roosevelt Mixon are going to take hard regressions this year. So I understand because JoJo Carter's another guy I think who has 200,000 reloads.
Mm-hmm. He's up there.
So yeah, just taking a guy with that many reloads, knowing how old your corner room is, I can understand taking him near the end of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that pick. And then yeah, Thompson was a steal for sure. Getting a 75-star dev in the middle of the second.
I'm telling you, man. Cowser, Divine, Frank Champion. Now Joshua Thompson's there, bro. That's great. And then Miranda is there, man. Like, boy, I know Frankie. We talked maybe I don't know a few weeks ago, a month ago, but he was telling me, however long it was, he was telling me that at one point he had to like literally draft his line, and so now it's like his line is developed now, and he adds like that's crazy, like to add that that's really significant there. I mean, love the pick with JoJo, is a great user and everything, but um, the Joshua Thompson pick added to his line now really going to shake some things up, man. So I guess they're just kind of looking for their QB, of the future, right? So we'll see how that goes.
Moving on to the 21st best draft class coming into season 10. That belongs to the. Oh, do I not have? Oh, here it is. I don't know why it's at the bottom. It's supposed to be in alphabetical order, but it's the Elks. And the big reason why they fell low because they didn't really have too many picks after their first, but they landed a stud in Casey Chestnut, the best offensive lineman in the RFL College Series, with star dev from Alabama. They needed linebacker, even though it seemed like they drafted a lot of linebackers the last couple of years. The depth was still thin and aging. So they got Scott Humphrey from LSU at a 70. And they added another linebacker for the depth in Demarcus Rome, another player that, would have been better more than likely had he been able to have another year in the college series as a generic, but pulled in, gets a 69. And a 68 overall wide receiver from Ohio State and Kelvin Brown, generic there, and a DN and Avery Vickers at a 67. Thoughts on the Elks pick up here?
There's just not a lot to say here. Obviously, they go get Casey Chestnut after trading for McCall this offseason.
Hmm.
Just getting a big bruiser up front. Need the best lineman in this class to help protect him because we know McCall was the most sacked quarterback last year. So
Hmm.
so trying not to repeat that. But like you said, outside of that, they just didn't really have any picks. But they got the guy they needed most.
Yep, like the pickup for the lineman, man. Definitely gonna need that guy in front of him to keep him, safe in the pocket.
Yeah, not too much to say there. So going on to number 22, we had the Snowhawks, and I think they just had all 7 of their draft picks here. They were able to get a good first round lineman in Trent Zimmer, and star dev 76 overall. And then uh, the following pick after that, kind of similar to Corey Baines, got their future quarterback in Danny Johnson from Tennessee at a 70 overall normal dev. They needed depth at safety, got a 70 overall Samir Lester from Penn State. And then the 2 punters, if I had to bell, I would bell myself. I picked a punter, and then I forgot I picked one the next round. So I drafted another one. So they might have 3 kickers and punters over here, and yeah, I got to figure that out. And so got a
Put him in the
70.
practice squad.
Well, you
Yeah.
can trade me for one. I'll take one off your hands because you actually sniped me for him. So there it is.
Shoot. But yeah, so we got Ernie Spear and Chris Schneider, 74 72 overall. Then you had a wide receiver in Gerard Higgins, and another wide receiver picked up in Baraka Peace. Honestly, this Snowhawks team is so stacked with talent. I did not want the back end to be really that good of players because more than likely they would have been hitting the practice squad and getting stolen anyway. So just went with, for the culture pick with Baraka Peace, man, for Pecan over there with the Snowhawks, man. Baraka Peace over there, man. His first live game with NC State and Tennessee. Thoughts on the Snowhawks?
Just like some of these other stacked teams, they just picked up players of need, best players available. You got Trent Zimmer. Danny Johnson's in a similar situation as Corey Baines. Uh, Joey Gidley has 2 years left on his contract, I think. So Danny
Mm-hmm.
Johnson has 2 seasons to get himself ready to start.
Yeah. So when is Danny Johnson gonna start? Is it gonna definitely be
More than likely two
two?
years. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
after 2 years. So I mean that's a plenty of time for development. So Danny, don't fall off, man. Dev, because by the time you get your guy right in 2 years, and he finally gets that opportunity to play, he's gonna be ready. You're in a great situation and with a stacked team. So yeah. All right. Going on to 23 for the best class. We had the Lumberjacks. They desperately needed help on the outside linebacker position as, again, a 3-4 defense. And they were able to land in the first round. I believe the second round. I don't think they had the first. They got Hassan Bird, star dev 74 overall edge rushing linebacker there from Utah. And then they got a 70 overall corner in Danny Cisco. They were definitely low in depth there in terms of like good talent. So they got that guy there who most likely might be able to see the field from time to time. DN, they picked up Cortland Riggins from LSU, another 70 overall player. Got deep tackle at 68 overall and Tevin Leach. I think he was from SMU. They got the tight end from Minnesota, 67 overall, and Chandler Lewis, and an offensive tackle in Kevin Childress from Texas at 68. Thoughts on a Lumberjacks pickup?
Hassan Bird was a good pickup. I was looking at the roster earlier. He'll get to start right away, and now they just got to worry about deving everyone else they got. For them to get an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, just average draft, man. Can't wait to see what the Lumberjacks are able to do. This season had a pretty good season last year. Had a lot of hot ups. So yeah, just a little bit more to add around the edges for them. So great job.
All right, going on to 24. We have the Crusaders. So the Crusaders, uh, they were able to pick up a solid lineman, got a star dev in the center with Dallas Steen from Oregon, 74 overall. Needed some depth for sure at cornerback. Got Ethan Nation, a user corner. Not as active though, but you never know. Might be able to turn around. Got a 70 overall. Uh, Needed a running back because they have a backup running back that's a 70 over, that's a 69 overall, and they do have Darius Young there, but he's also aging and more than likely will not be coming back to the squad. So you get Jamil Morris from Tennessee with a star dev at a 70 overall. Is a good 1-2 punch development guy in the future to go there along with Marlon Marshall. And then you got 69 overall outside linebacker in Joel and Antoine to match that 3-4. They needed a backup quarterback, and they got Eric Alcorn, the user from Utah, at 65. And then their last pick was Titus Verrett at a 68 overall at outside linebacker. Thoughts on the Crusaders picks?
Yeah, there's not much here. It does look like Dallas Stein is going to start. He's only one overall lower than the current starting center and Bernard Allison. So I'm sure Stein's going to get to see the field right away. Antoine and Verrett are far from playing. And Ethan Nation is far from playing right now too. So I mean, great pickup there with Stein. He's going to start, but we're getting toward the bottom of this list here, and there's less and less players to talk about.
Is Alcorn active? Is that an active person? A
Yeah,
user?
he's active.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because he's got a little bit of a. I mean, he doesn't really have much to go as far as taking over Jorge Torres Aguilar. So that'd be interesting to see what his storyline is going to look like if he's going to be active and upgrade. Because actually, he has better size at the QB position than Jorge Torres. So speed is not there, obviously, but he's only one tick off of the throw power. But I like to see if he's going to upgrade and try to because Ben Wakefield's 31. So it'll be interesting to see.
All right, going on to the 25th best draft. We have the Desperados. Uh, Again, this is a team that kind of filled in a lot of their. This is a team that had players there that were youthful that they're using for depth, but they were struggling at linebacker for sure. And they needed a good, again, 3-4 edge rushing linebacker, and they got it in Raheem Underwood from Oregon with a star dev 74 overall. And then they ended up getting the controversial pick wide receiver in Rohan Boxy at a 68, who will, I've spoken with Rohan shortly, and he's got an opportunity by week one to start at the slot receiver. As long as he's putting in the work, he can literally touch that field by week one. He'll be on the field for most of the reps anyway during the preseason. And if he upgrades as soon as the week starts, I mean, this guy could see himself at least being a 69, maybe even a 70 with the luck of the draw wherever his upgrades land, and have 3 weeks of the most playing time on the field, which will have him prepared for week one to fill in that role. So after that, they needed linebackers. They got Patrick Leal from Memphis. Got James Matlock, both 68 overalls, and a 68 overall corner, and Rashad Bohannon. Thoughts on the Dallas Desperados picks?
I mean, Rohan might not like it, and Dunn might not like it, but I mean, if there's a chance that he can be starting by week 1 as a 68 overall, he ended up in the right place. I like the Underwood pick. He'll probably start over McCardell right away. It's a great pick for them, and then they got depth. Just good draft for where they ended up picking.
So you're saying that Rock Buxy is the third best? He'll be the third best wide receiver for the Desperados this season.
Yeah, mainly main reason is this. Those There's two wide receivers that were users that have not done anything, and they're like 72 overall, so they're just stuck in the mud, right? The third best wide receiver there is a 75 overall, but he's 28. So he's not going to get no better, and he's a generic. So the way I look at it is if we get this user receiver, he's active enough to compete. He can surpass all of them by the end of the season easily and
So
get the reps of
it
play.
sounds to me like Desperados are in trouble this season.
Not necessarily because they got their two receivers on the outside. I still feel like with him playing, the overall may be like, oh, that's low. But I do feel like with Marquise Washington, he makes receivers around them better. And he can be a really good asset working out of the slot. So if he grinds on top of that, I think that's a huge addition to the offense. Actually, yeah, the 75 could probably be better as the season's going on. But with the user developing on top of that, getting those reps, and what he'll get during the preseason too, I think that he can be a real great addition to the passing offense. All right, so let's go on to number 26. We have the London Black Knights. So the Black Knights, this is a team that really needed to work on getting some linemen, and with the first two picks, they were able to get a 73 overall and Derek Moffitt. I believe he was from Clemson, and they got 71 overall and Ross Anderson. Got a D tackle, needed those with Oscar Mulligan at a 70. Cornerback Kenya Dunham from California, 69 overall. Greg Campos, another Penn State lineman, 69, and another lineman at center with Paul Gibbs. So they had a lot of old, aging linemen, and they ended up picking four offensive linemen out of their six picks in this one. Not to say that they're going to be all that great. The overalls aren't that high, but a lot of these guys were like late 20s, 30-something-year-old guys that were more than likely probably not going to be even coming back if they're on their last year in their contract. So he just really wanted to fill that offensive line room up with some youthful guys to just hold. So that's a big pick, a big reason behind their offensive lineman picks, and the rest was just depth that they needed with Dunham and Oscar. Thoughts on the Black Knights here?
I mean, I'm looking at this, and there's a chance that Dunham just plays week 1. I mean, he's the fourth corner, and only 2 overall lower than the third, who's 26 years old. So I mean, there's a chance that you start Dunham week 1, which isn't great for the Black Knights, but it ends up being a good pick if he does. Um, I mean, I think they took too many linemen. They have like 15 total linemen on the roster now.
Yeah, most
But
likely old guys going to be up out of there, especially the mid guys. So I mean, a lot of them are old. So
yeah, I mean Dunham
Yeah,
ends up
no comment for
pick
me.
week 1.
Shout out to Mari, man.
yeah, so that is the 26 class right there. We're getting on to 27. And at 27, you had the Red Dragons, coached by Coach Davis. He picked up a defensive tackle in Ishmael Ibarra from Penn State. Then got an offensive guard at 70 overall and Connor Griggs from Florida. Uh, this was the part where I just felt like in those earlier rounds, I know that he probably felt like a D tackle was a need, but uh, many coming into this draft knew that the defensive tackle position was not going to be all that stacked, and they kind of needed a running back. There was a lot of good running backs early on that he could have got, but he ended up getting Matty King at a 69 overall from Miami. Then at the end, they ended up getting Josh Batista at 67, got a kicker. I believe he's from Tennessee, 71 overall, and Heath Goodman. And then the last two picks got a cornerback in C.J. Gill from Ohio State and a defensive tackle in Kevin Choice. I believe he's from Texas too. Both 68 overalls. Thoughts on Davis's pick here for the Dragons?
Um, I mean, his best pick might end up being the kicker. He's the only one who's going to play right away. I mean, Ibarra is going to end up playing next year because he's gonna have to with the two older D tackles on their roster. But this was kind of a nothing draft for Davis if he was trying to maintain his roster.
Yeah, I'm on the same wave as Forbes right now with this. Interested to see Maddie King going there is kind of interesting. I don't remember all the backs. I'm trying to pull up Red Dragons right now to see where Maddie King falls. Hey, he's a pretty big name in the college series. Just want to see where his career may
He's
be
gonna be
headed now
the
that he's
fourth
been
running
drafted.
back on the roster.
Yeah, fifth, yeah. So DJ Scott, yeah. So boy, that's going to be interesting to see. Yeah.
All right, then at 28, we have the Shamrocks, and they needed some linemen too. So their first two picks, they got linemen. I think they had later picks in this draft too. They got Grant Morris at 72 overall at guard, another guard at Lennox Steele. Again, linemen in the RFL are just pretty much interchangeable. So wherever these guys might fit, not saying that they'll stay at guards. We'll see. At middle linebacker, they had George Ellington, who was a stud linebacker for Texas A&M this year, who had a great year. But again, it's just a one-year player. So he, just came in what he did, which is still solid for a one-year guy. Tight end, they got 68 overall, Zeke Moore from Texas. DN, they got Lucas Solomon from Utah to 69. And their last pick was Alexander Downs from Oklahoma State at a 68 overall at free safety. Thoughts on the Shamrocks?
I mean, it looks like one of those two linemen are gonna be able to start for them. But I mean, this is the team that ended up trading their first round pick to the Dreadnoughts like the day before the draft. They just ended up not having any top picks to really do anything.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what happened to their draft. They weren't able to get everything they would have originally because they traded out of a lot of their picks.
Yeah.
Who did they pick up with that
Oh,
trade?
they got that beast linebacker. What's the name from the Dreadnoughts? Uh,
Um, Dylan
Oh,
Schwartz.
Nolan
yeah, Dylan
Angelo.
Schwartz.
Angelo? Oh,
Dylan
Jason
Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so that was the trade off for that first round pick. Uh, and we move on to 29. Our last three, or last four drafts here. We have the Orlando Sentinels, which I think most guys were looking to look at here. This is the part where guys were, scratching their heads a bit. The Sentinels have been known to have some questionable drafts, and off rip the first pick, they go Elijah Carter Jr. with the 10th overall pick at a 71 overall. No Dev with him. Then the second round, they got Travis Okoye, undersized defensive lineman from Texas at a 68 overall. They did better with the linemen their next couple of picks based off of the rest of the talent that was there. They got a 70 overall guard in Darius Hundley. I think he's from Notre Dame. And then Craig Pryor at a 69 overall tackle. And then their last two picks, strong safety D'Angelo Brown, also from Notre Dame, was 69 overall, and a center and Alex Pettis. What's your thoughts on the Orlando Sentinels draft here?
This has just become par for the course for Sentinels drafting. I think it's kind of why their roster is the way it is now with the aging and some players not developing.
Oh shoot, I don't skip the 29th. But yeah, go ahead. You just cover the Sentinels and then go to 29.
Yeah. Um, and with the 10th pick, it had nothing to do with Elijah Carter being picked there. It's not the player. It's just even as he said on paper, there were better options. Even if they don't go corner, they go something else. There's just better options there. It's not that Carter's a bad player and everyone was talking trash on him. It's he shouldn't have been taken there. And there's a good reason why they're down here at 30 with the D minus grade.
I don't have anything to say. They got their guy. They obviously like him in the locker room. They're supporting him. So anything I say about them is gonna just turn into a 45 minute rant in the Discord that we're going back and forth. So they got their guy. They got to figure it out, man. Good luck to the Sentinels.
All right, let's go back to 29 since we skipped that one, uh, which was I thought we went through the Shamrocks.
We did. Were they not 28?
Okay, so what happened is I guess I didn't edit the rank right. So technically, yeah, the Sentinels were supposed to be 29. So that's my bad. Actually, no, yeah, we did skip. So 29 is kind of confusing me. This was supposed to be the Bulls here, yeah, at 29. So yeah, that's going back. So they were above the Sentinels. They got Arl Matthews, the user cornerback from Tennessee, 72 overall. Needed a wide receiver bad with the depth they had, and 69 overall. Another Tennessee player, and Zyrus Smith Jr. Cornerback, they got 69 overall, Jaquez Winston. Free safety from Washington, 69 overall, Maka Duff. And then a defensive end they needed at a 67 overall, and Andreas Bazanes from Georgia Tech. So that's what they were able to get. The reason why they got a little higher than the Sentinels too, by the way, is just they had got the better cornerback in that first round. So thoughts on the Bulls here, what they were able to get?
Not a lot to say here. Just a lot of developmental pieces
Mhm.
for all five of them. I mean, Matthews might get to play a little, but yeah, there's just not much to say about him.
Yeah, same here, man. Shout out to Zyrus and RFL, man.
And we have down to our last two at 31. We have the New England Monarchs. So they were shot on draft picks all the way into the fourth round. And they made some pretty solid pickups with what they had. I mean, the fourth round, they picked up a 70 overall cornerback and Andre Anyamata. Got a 69 overall lineman who was a stud at Nebraska, but again, played 1 year. Matt Hilleman. And then you had an offensive guard and Richard Kane at 70 as well. Got a tight end in Randy Wolf at 68 and a center at 69 and Maddox Barber. Thoughts on what the Monarchs were able to pull with their limited picks?
This is what happens when you trade away all your other picks. You're left with drafting death pieces.
Yeah, shout out to Rodney, man. I want to see what he's able to do this season with the team that he does have.
All right, and then of course with the last pick, the only team we did not call in this one, which had followed the same exact thing as the Monarchs, they didn't have a pick to the fourth round, and so the Voyagers and Coach Baker made their picks, and what made it kind of worse is they picked up some pretty bad guys with those those picks there, man. Compared to what was there, so they got a 66 overall and Chansey from Minnesota, and then they got Jamal Yazzie, who was a 66 overall at wide receiver two from California, and then they finished off their last two picks with a 67 overall Craig Hutton from Notre Dame. And their best pick of the draft was their punter and Andrew Medina. I think he was from Clemson and he was a 70. So again, the guys who did not have picks in the first three rounds, obviously the last two ranked draft classes, and it's more so as that Coach Baker kind of missed on those fourth round picks. Could have probably got something better during that stage. Thoughts on Baker's picks here?
There's not really any thoughts. I mean, other than the punter, I don't think any of these guys are ever going to play.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Baker, man. I'm not laughing at you, Baker, man, because I know you and everything, man. But I just kind of just laugh at what people say, the things that people say, man. You know what I mean? Like, so, hey, yeah, I have no comment, man.
All right. So that is it for the draft class rankings. And with that being said, we're moving on to the next topic, and that was mainly the main thing we were going to be covering this draft was the top 32 right there. And next up, I don't have sound like I forgot to edit the sound here for this mix, but I will be revealing the start of season 10. But again, one more thing before I do that. Another key announcement is, well, actually, I might as well reveal it because this follows with that. So let's go ahead and do that. Season 10 is starting up, and I'm going to go reveal the season 10 logo along with the date. So here we go. I'm going to see if I can at least play some music or something. Do I have something nice? That's from the draft, so let me see this. Yeah, let's just do, we're gonna use this. Here we go. New logo for season 10 of the RFL. We're in the gold era now. Season 10 starts the 19th on Martin Luther King Day. That'll be the logo that we will be using. So we are literally 9 days away from the new season. Man, that cut off abruptly. But yeah, logo's made. I got roasted a little bit for the logo because it looks like a WWE Championship belt, Mick said. But I think, man, when you guys see the graphics with this logo on it, it's fire. So man, thoughts on the season come up in 9 days, guys. And if you want to talk about the logo, I mean, I already talked about it being a belt from a mixed perspective. Anything else you guys want to say? How excited are you for season 10, man? Season X.
And I
Well,
just,
for that, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I've made all these moves. I'm ready. You know, I got halfway through the college series and I was like, man, really wish I was watching some RFL games right now. You know, so it's been a long time coming for season 10, and I'm more than ready.
Yeah, well, the RFL season 10 belt is being made in my file, my wrestling file right now. So I'll be revealing that.
I
Yeah,
guess.
during the season, you guys will see that. Definitely going to put that on those cane pants of Forbes over here at some point. So he'll definitely see that. As far as being, I'm really excited about the season as well, man. A lot of stuff in the works. I just really feel rejuvenated, and I'm really excited about not only the league, obviously, and guys getting back to it, what we've been waiting on for so long, but also just personally for myself, just got you got goals and you got things that you want to undo, things that you want to put in the past, and I think that we've definitely put things in the past. We're just ready to go into season 10, man, and make some history. And just happy to be a part of the 10th season as well, man. It's gonna be a nice time, man. A good
Yeah.
time. So big salute to all the guys who are around supporting, the league, and you don't want to miss this season though.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to miss this one because from a just from a the guys, Furbs, Hodge, we've been breaking this game down for months now, man. And the things that you can do this season, just as a head coach, is going to be crazy. So I think you're going to see a lot of different new looks from the guys who've been, doing their research and preparing. You're
Yeah.
going to see a lot of new stuff, guys, that you guys have not seen prior. Seeing players being able to do this and teams being able to do this and exploit this, and you have to watch this season, man. If you didn't watch any other season, if you have watched last season, if you got to watch this season, bro. This is going to be. I hate to say it, Pete Gunn's going to get mad. It's going to be a movie. so, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely don't want to miss this season, guys. It's going to be huge, like Mick says. So many storylines, so many crazy moves have been made. Guys who've been in college for 4 years, literally, finally pros, get opportunities to make a name for themselves. And again, to have every team in one file is huge. We saw how much of an impact that made the last season when we first had that be a thing with everyone there. And this is the most competitive that the RFL has ever been in terms of teams, man. Like, if you look on that neon, you look at all these teams, like you can't just look on your roster unless you're one of those more stacked teams and be like, oh yeah, we're for sure more than likely winning this. It's a lot of teams that you got to worry about. A lot of guys that were at the bottom now coming up, and a lot of even coaches making getting ready to come back and do things. Like example, with even Mix, man, having those picks, being able to revamp after having that season. Looking forward to see what he does. Looking forward to see like storylines like Jabri Jackson getting traded from his old stomping grounds of the Gunners and still being in the same division, getting to play Tyon, who replaced him 2 times this year. The hype behind the Barons with all their draft picks and how good that made their team. The hype behind the Bisons, how good their team now just got. The hype around Forbes going all in with the players trying to win a championship this year. Even the hype around that division, how stacked that division is with the T-Birds, with him, with the Desperados, the Tigers being a better team. It's just so many storylines and great things that are coming that, I don't think guys are going to want to miss any games because like every team has something to look forward to. Even the Elks getting Jacob McCall. How will McCall do over there in Salt Lake City after his struggles over there in Chicago? Like it's so many things that every game is going to have a storyline you're going to want to tune into. 10th season is going to be amazing. It's also going to be our first Hall of Fame season. So there's going to be 5 players, first time ever being inducted into the RFL, which our first game will feature. So those players will not be announced until the day of those games during the game. So we're just going to be going in on season 10, man. This is literally 10 actual years of the RFL putting in work, running the way we've been running the gold standard of this simulation football thing, man. So, man, shout out to everyone who's been a part of this. Shout out to everyone that is still here since the
Oh,
early stages and
we
all that.
forgot to you got to shout out Nice Sean too, man.
Yeah, yeah,
For Jedediah Nice Sean Richardson for the logo reveal, guys. We appreciate him animating that for us today.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out to you
I want to make
guys,
sure I throw
man.
that out there. Just
Yeah,
yeah,
apologies for not saying that earlier, but yeah, that was pretty much what my shout out was just for anybody who's contributed. Anyone who's contributed to this, we want to thank y'all. Again, there's guys that helped out a lot more this year. Forbes helping out with the draft class, Mari always coming through in the clutch. We had Darius up in there. Mix always going to be putting in work, always has since he's been here. We had CP in there. He had Eric helping. It was just so many guys. Pecan for sure. I mean, the big help he was even during the college series. How committed he was. Now he's a commentator. And another big announcement I want to make is we got another commentator. I'm not sure if I even
and
made this, but
Dunn and
Forbes is going to be another guy that we bring on Tuesday. Who were you about to mention?
yeah, Dunn and Bartman as well
Oh
with
yeah,
the Google Sheets and all that stuff.
all
The
that
work they did with that. I mean, had quite a few guys. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot, man. We had to do, and honestly, I'll be honest with you. This was a scary season, Smitty. It was a scary off season, bro. At times, it felt like this is not going to get done. You know,
hmm
and but guys stepped up. Definitely Forbes, man. Forbes, Mari, definitely too. Guys just stepped up at a crucial time. Hopefully we're going to be lucky enough next year to have all the helping hands. For this
we're definitely
because
at that
it
time
was I
going to be
don't like
ready because
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you know
Because
what's
I
happening.
don't think they know. They don't really know what be happening, bro. All they see is the gloss. They don't see, the behind the scenes stuff, bro. It's just like, oh man, but yeah, it
Yeah. Yeah,
is what it
this
is,
is going
bro.
to be an amazing season, man. I cannot wait for it to happen. And honestly, this is the way we've been seeing this gameplay is probably going to be the best Madden that the RFL has ever played on. So get
Yeah.
ready for some
I don't
fire
even think I've
games.
seen any glitches. Like how we normally like there's a glitch,
hmm
right? I guess that trait that they were talking about, the Q sideline thing, whatever it is,
Yeah, and
that
sometimes dudes
but
just
at
run
least you
straight
can
out of
remove that.
bounds. Yeah,
Yeah, at least you can remove that. But there's I don't even think I've seen any glitches that we can't control. I mean, the worst thing in this game, guys, is the celebration, where they keep doing whatever that's called.
a
But
showboat.
this no, not the showboat. When they score the touchdown
Oh,
and then they start doing that dance thing, whatever that is.
yeah.
Which
I'm not.
one? Just repeat the
One where
same
he
three
keeps
over.
just,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
saying,
there's one of them where they keep on he goes low and then he jumps up and he
Or he
arm
squats.
left, arm
yeah,
right,
it's
whatever he's
trash.
doing.
It's like, man, when the
Yeah,
game first dropped, I mean, the game is fire,
yeah,
don't get me wrong. But like when the game dropped, bro, how many different celebrations was these guys just busting out? You know, and
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
were looking forward to that. They were giving more instant replays for us to take more fire photos of each game and all that. And you got these dudes still doing the same sellies that we saw in college football. Like this needs to be changed.
Yeah,
EA, if you're watching
yeah,
this,
Q.
we gotta put something out.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like the sturdy though. It looks like something else. But yeah, you're right. That is a sturdy. I just realized that's a sturdy. But it looks so stiff, bro. It looks turdy. I guess it's just
Sturdy
weird,
looking
bro.
30, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys got the release date. You guys know when the season's going to start now. You guys have seen the new logo. This will be getting posted up on social media after this podcast and stuff like that. And you know, you guys seen the class, the players that are coming in for each team that has a chance to make a difference for their team this year. And so with that being said, the last announcement I have to make is that since we know how close the season is, it's just 9 days away. Tomorrow, I will be opening up uh, the reload buck upgrades. So if you're looking to upgrade your player before this season, that will be open tomorrow at noon and will close on Monday at noon. And it will be ran differently in terms of like who's adding the boost. So I will not be adding the boost anymore. Shout out to Forbes because he said he's gonna help me with that, and he wants to help with take more things off my hands since I'm in school and stuff. So I really appreciate you for doing that. And just so guys don't have anything thoughts on like guys trying to cheat something, he will be recording what span, what you got, and you guys will be able to see, exactly what the spinner landed on and what you'll be getting, and he'll be adding that to your players. So yeah, and now we leave the floor open to the community for y'all to ask any questions for us.
So the only thing is, I do have to do the Patreon payout.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is going to be a bit of a busy morning for me. I'm going to be running around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, and I had some other things I wanted to do tonight, man. I'll try to see if I can get them done tonight. But yeah.
Okay.
So if I don't get them, if I can't get them done tonight and tomorrow morning, then they'll just have to wait until I guess Sunday evening. Um,
Yeah,
and I'll
'cause I
try to
mean
get them like when I get back.
at noon.
You said what?
Upgrades are open until Monday at noon. So
Monday at noon. Yeah, yeah. Uh, can you extend it, Smitty, to Tuesday at noon
Yeah,
to
I
give
could
me
do that.
time to get their upgrades in?
Yeah, I could do, but it
Yeah,
also depends like with
that
that. Oh yeah, we still got that whole week we're not doing nothing. So Forbes, if you're cool with that, we can do that if you don't mind.
that's fine.
All right, cool.
yeah. That way, honestly, the best time for me to do those would be Monday when I get off work, uh, because I don't have anything to do. There's no game to call, so I could just
Yeah.
come home and do the Patreon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
So
fine.
that way, yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and yeah, of course we're gonna have a preseason
I
this
might do
year.
it
So
tonight.
yeah,
Like if
no.
guys get in a call, I might do it tonight. But I just, what that is. I just want to mess around with my stuff, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah.
it's cool. Well, yeah,
You know how this shit is what it is.
we're gonna have preseason first. So we're not skipping the preseason. Preseason is now a big deal in the RFL now that that's officially back, and especially with the rookies that we have coming in, it gives them an opportunity to dev and just to see them at some point if they're not going to touch the field, what they can bring to the team. So it's definitely going to be preseason, week 1 all the way to week 3. We don't do anything in week 4, and then after that, we're pretty much week 4. We're after week 3 of the preseason, we're jumping pretty much right into week 1. We're not wasting a week to get into that opening season. So yeah, within 4 weeks when the season starts, we're going to be in week 1, guys. But yeah, any more questions you guys got for us in the chat? It says Memphis Steamers won a
The first
reload bowl. No.
preseason game is Bison's and
Oh, we ain't. No, don't release nothing yet.
oh, I thought he said
Yeah.
no. Okay,
No,
my
yeah,
bad.
no, because we saving that for the next podcast.
Well, R.I.P. You know half of it.
Is there anybody? Uh,
Oh, for upgrades for anyone listening, that means if you're doing student of the game, you need to DM me what you're adding.
yeah. Yeah, don't DM me. I'll redirect you to him if you hit me like it used to be. But I'll just tell you that now y'all send this to Forbes and I'll get you right. But make sure if you're listening now, go to Forbes. I think we might be straight. I don't see any like questions for real left. Yeah,
Um,
cap breakers are the same. So like whenever there's upgrades regularly for upgrades
well,
for
somebody you
players, you gotta do.
send me like you use so I can track how much they have to spend for an upgrade point.
Well, I can handle that because to type all that stuff out, it's like a sheet that I have to look at and engage on how important that attribute is to the position. So I'll still handle
So
that.
you're
Yeah, I'll handle cap
okay.
breakers because it's only adding 1 point anyway. And you can handle the other rest of it. Okay, yeah, yeah. You guys come to me for cap breakers. And does free agency start? Uh, Wait till everything is done for every team first, and then we can look into that. No exact time yet. Just want to make sure it's done. I still have to clear out, use the points and all that stuff for CPU teams, and make sure that they're able to participate in it too. So gotta wait till all that gets done. Yep, Red Dragons and Bulldogs have the most reload bowls with two.
Yes, Roland. Free agency will be open before week 1. It'll be okay. Yes, we're doing the preseason this year. But he just
Yo,
said that.
every year, Speedy, every year, Roland says the free agency. What, always signing free agents, bro. They're lower than 70, bro. Like, it's just comedy. It's like you ask the same thing every year about the free agents. Like, it's like, oh, I gotta have depth, man. I gotta have depth, bro. Like, bro, they're
You
like
already
69 and
have
below, bro.
you already have 60 players on your roster. Like, what do you?
It's so funny, bro. Like,
He's already got 2 kickers and 2 punters.
Yeah, we don't ever sim games, so preseason gets played. Nick, the only reason they got simmed before in the past was because we had two separate files we had to do by conferences and NFL teams was in there. But now that we don't have that, we're good.
he's gonna sign a 69 overall QB, and then you're out of a job, nice son. That's what he's gonna do.
Well, looks like we're pretty good. We already got a pretty long running pod here. I know the guys probably ready to get off, but if you guys got any more questions for us, just feel free to hit us up in Discord, man. And we'll be able to respond as soon as we can. All right. I will be posting again the start date and the video again of the RFL season. And just before we get out of here, let me go ahead and roll that one more time with the music, and so you guys can we'll get another look at that. So season 10's on the way, boys. We're going to see you guys on the 19th. And, of course, before that on Saturday. So make sure you guys are tuned in. And it's a wrap for the podcast, guys. That's it for your boys. Smitty, RFL Commissioner Play Commentator with Mix and Forbes. And get prepared, man. Get your reloads. Upgrade this week. Get ready to jump into the new season on the right foot. And get ready for some RFL football for the 10th year in a row. That's it for me, guys, and see you guys next time. Peace.